Hello and welcome to episode 85 of the Randomer Nintendo podcast. I think I might have said Random Nintendo on another take. Yep, this is our third take. I am Angel, hosting again after a prolonged period of absence, just one extra week. I already forget why. But anyway, nearest to me physically is Elvis.
Hello.
Then somewhere further is Kevin.
Yep.
He's still closer to
And
us.
yeah, and then somewhere in the US, God knows where, is Jason.
Hi, I'm in the same county as you. As normal.
Yeah, but
You might
But
as
in
well be on
theory-
the other side of the planet, dude.
I know, I'm in the
How-
outer rim
how
of
long
Los
it
Angeles
takes for us to-
Actually, I'm
to
not
get
even
to
in
your
the
place.
outer rim.
yeah, like
If
not even
anything, you
theory,
guys are the
depending on-
outer rim, and I'm more the core, because I'm in LA the city, and you guys are in LA the county.
Oh, big shot over here.
Whoa.
Damn. Well, look at me. I could vote for the city of LA mayor.
I actually
Alright.
can't because I'm still registered in a different city.
Always finds a way to
Okay,
squeeze that
so-
into a conversation.
Squeeze in, I'm registered in a different city.
No, that you're part of the city. Yeah, not the county. Or no, wait, whatever you said.
No, it's just because I originally was saying I'm the outer rim, and I realized that's actually factually the reverse of what it is. So I had to correct myself.
The Outer Rim sounds like a movie or show that one of you have seen.
It is
But-
definitely some science fiction something. Yeah.
Isn't the outer oh no, I'm thinking Outer Haven from here.
Could have been thinking of Outer Wilds, but
Good game.
close enough. But yeah, I mean, I guess while we have Jason on here, Kevin, how have you been?
I have been pretty good. I went to the Ren Fair 2 Saturdays ago. Not last Saturday. Was it last Saturday? When was Alonzo's birthday?
I think it's
Fif-
2 weeks.
The 16th?
It would have been last. Oh, it would have been
It's 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I went to
Yeah, so two
okay.
Saturdays ago.
Went
yeah,
to
I was
the Ren
right,
Fair
16th.
the 16th. And I saw Gilbert there with Jenny, which was
Just
super
random.
So
cool.
they went
That's
twice,
funny.
or they just went on to Saturday and not with our friend. Did everyone go on Saturday except for the birthday boy?
So funny that you say that. Like,
Did you go,
everybody
Jason?
go on that day? Because not only did I see Gilbert there, but I saw another like old coworker of mine there. So
Now you know Saturday's the popular day for Renaissance.
Yeah,
fairs.
a lot of my coworkers went on Saturday. So
yeah, it was the second to last day. So like it makes sense of
Yeah.
of why, but it was still like weird to see that many people that I know without it being like planned. But no, I had fun at the Red Fair. Got there pretty much as soon as it opened. Unfortunately, we're too late to see the joust, which sucks because I've never seen it before. But it was a good time. Next year, I'm planning to go as a plague doctor, so that'll be fun.
Like full garb and everything.
Because I did dress up for this one, but I literally just went to like Amazon and put Ren Fair male costume and just picked the very first two things that were on there. And I wasn't the only one because
I was about to say, like, how many you're like, hey.
easily 100 people. Easily 100 guys wearing the exact same thing that I was.
so you guys were the main NPC.
Yeah, exactly. And like this,
That's
at one point I was walking
Reuse
and this one guy points at me. He's like, "Hey, we're wearing the same thing." I'm like, "Yeah, dog. So are 300 other people here. Like, get out of here." But no, it was fun. Had a good time.
Funny.
Nice.
On our
Was
end,
it-
I was just hearing Celso text me and Tommy, like, how miserable he was, or like how annoying he was.
How
He gets there.
what?
He gets there and he was talking about, like, it's hot, it was crowded, and the turkey leg was dry.
The turkey
He was
legs
mad.
were really bad. I will corroborate there, but like hot, it wasn't like too hot because I remember the last time that I got to the Renaissance Fair, it was like super hot, and this time like I was fine.
Yeah, that was going to be my question because that is the only thing I really remember about the Ren Fair, just being
Just the
miserably
heat.
hot.
Really? Wow. It was like
Yeah.
it was cool enough. Like, to be fair, he was dressed up like an Armenian drug lord, so like But that's on him, you know. I felt fine.
Did he get the wrong memo about the theming?
He did. So here's the thing about our friend Salsa. Okay, I invited him. I like me the week prior, and I didn't know if he was showing up or not. That being said, he did have an entire week to like get an ensemble, and he didn't. So that's on him.
But he knew about this way prior to the week. Like when we ate Korean barbecue was Daniel. That's when it was set.
No, I think that was just like, hey, let's do this, as opposed to I am going. You guys are invited as well, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So that's on him. No, but I had a good time.
Good to hear. Go back next year?
Yeah.
That good? of a time?
Yeah, I will be going as a plague doctor, as I said.
Oh, duh. That's right. Goldfish memory. But yeah, you could tell I've been listening as the host. That is the job I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
Elvis, did you go to the Ren Fair? How have you been?
I did not go to the Ren Fair, but I did go to Vegas.
Wow, poor Alonzo.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how many people went that day. But the weekend after, I went to Vegas. I saw Death Clock and I'm on a Mars. So that was awesome. They have very cool, at least I'm on a Mars has a very cool set. And like they have like inflatable Leviathans. They have a big ass Viking helmet that the drummer plays on top of, kind of. And there's a song called like something about I forgot what the title was called, but it's about like using an oar, like what you use to like paddle a boat, little Viking boat. So during that song, everyone gets on the floor and like starts like going like rowing in unison. So it's pretty cool. I like the whole floor.
Apparently that's becoming like a real thing at metal shows, regardless of the theme of the song being about boats. Like in Europe in particular, people just do that now, apparently.
That's funny. I've seen the first time I've ever seen like a death wall where like it's split in half, and then one half is like looking at the other half, and then just start running towards each other.
Oh yeah, they run towards each other. Yeah, but yeah, the rowing one, like, not that they're metal per se, but I'm pretty sure I've seen footage of them doing the rowing thing at like Linkin Park's tour in Europe last year. I'm not even kidding. Like it's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean it's more applicable at your show. It sounds like maybe that's the origin of it, but it's become a thing.
I wonder what does Linkin. You said Linkin Park. What does Linkin Park have? Any song that requires that?
No, they do not. There's not a single nautical song in the Linkin Park catalog. Like there's no reason to be talking about boats.
That's funny.
I mean, the closest thing they have a lyric swimming in the sky, but that's not water. That's sky. So no, you'd be doing airplane motions, not boating motions.
Yeah, I'm interested to see during what Linkin Park song or.
I'm guessing it's probably one of the slightly more poppy, melodic, slow ones because it's easier to like sit down and do that for that than like if it's like a thrasher-y one. But yeah, but now I know the probably origin of that, so that's kind of interesting.
And then other than that, just really nailing down the sculpt, or really honing down on the Donkey Kong sculpt. Just getting ready for sculpting class in like 2 weeks in South Carolina to do. It's like the teacher's a former Pixar employee.
Whoa!
So he's gonna be
nice.
So he's gonna be I think just focusing on like stylized characters and approaching a sculpt with a stylized character. So since I already did Donkey Kong, or I'm finishing up Donkey Kong, I'm gonna for that workshop I'm gonna do K-Rool. So
Nice.
I have like the pair.
Yeah.
What I've seen of that Donkey Kong, which goes back, when was I last with you in person? Like a month ago. Very cool
I
looking.
don't think anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
But
like
it's
during the
obviously-
rough parts, it looks much better
Yeah.
now.
I mean, it looked great then. From my untrained eye. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, other than that, just been doing nothing.
Excited to see it evolve. And last and debatably least, Jason.
I'll take it. Sure. Hi. No, I'm doing okay. Trying to think. I mean, you mentioned concert, Elvis. I also was just at a concert. They did not row at my concert. I was at a like.
It was a
I don't know
trivia
if it's a
concert.
It was actually more of like a show than a concert because it was in like a small venue. It was at like this bar called Gold Diggers in East Hollywood, and it's this band called Milk Blood, who they're an electronic trio. They've been around a few years. If you've seen the Uncharted movie, there's a song that they have in it called No Mind that kind of blew them up from it. But they've also been like on the Madden soundtrack, and they've worked with the individuals from the group have worked with different people. One of the three guys actually is the director of all the pre-tape shorts on SNL and did like that Mario Kart short a few years ago and has directed some Lonely Island stuff. But they're like a not comedy, like serious electronic trio. My second time seeing them, I saw them randomly in like a warehouse-ish thing next to a mail truck depot in like Boyle Heights a year ago. And then they had this show at a more normal bar. So I went to that. Yeah, it's cool. If you guys haven't heard of them and you like sort of like electronic beats with like some rap, like they have collabs with IDK and Danny Brown. They have one coming out with. So if you know like any of those rappers, like they're on some of their stuff. But yeah, no, they're a cool trio. Funny story though, actually. So I got into them before I knew that they had any involvement with SNL. I mean, you guys know I'm an SNL nerd. And then the guy who did their visuals was actually the now third member, the SNL director. He is the brother of one of the two guys, and he initially started just doing the visuals for them because they have a very visual first kind of presentation. They wear like these kind of like suit. It's kind of Daft Punkish, but a little more sci-fi. Like they wear these kind of suits, like all black suits with like these headpieces, and they like have like a whole ARG you can do, and they have like a Discord and all these like they drop all these little hints about like a bigger story about their music that's been on and off for the last few years. And there's like this like creature that keeps reoccurring in different videos of there. It's kind of like he broke out of containment, and even their show, like they have, you know, it's a small venue, so they just had like a projector with a screen behind them. But even that, like all the visuals tied into this ARG and everything. But before the show started, I got there kind of early, and this guy's like supporting one of the opening acts, and then he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, you look familiar. Do I know you?" And I was like, were you at the last Milk Blood show? Because that's the only thing I could think of because I was at the one last summer. He's like, oh, well, I'm Mike. And I'm like, okay, I'm Jason. Nice to meet you. He's like, have a good time. He just like walked away. And I'm like, that was odd. And then I was thinking about it. And I was like, wait a minute. The SNL director guy, who I'm a fan of all his pre-tapes that did their visuals and then joined the band proper, is named Mike. So I'm thinking like, is that him? Because I'd love to have met him. I would try to meet him. And so I see him kind of going in and out, and he's being very supportive of the opening acts, like super into it, like more than anyone else. And he keeps kind of disappearing for a while and coming back more than a normal concert goer would. So I Google him and then I like pull him up on my phone. I'm like, it does kind of look like him, but I don't know. Maybe not. The nose is a different shape. I don't know. So I just kind of bide my time a little more. And I'm like, wait, let me see if he has any video interviews on YouTube, because that would be like a more real representation of how he actually looks. I pull that up, and it is him. And I'm like, oh my God, it is him. So I went back to him at some point. I was just like, hey, you said you're Mike, right? And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
he was like,
no.
well.
Yeah, he's like, and I'm like, exactly. I'm like, of Milk Blood? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. It took me a minute to piece that together. I didn't make the connection when you first came over, but yeah, you know, big fan of your SNL pre-tapes and da-da-da. He was super nice. We chatted for a couple minutes. But it was so funny that like, if there was anyone I'd seek out from that band to be the SNL guy, and then he sought me out indirectly, unintentionally at the start of the night. So I met the guy. But no, they're cool. They're a cool trio. They have their album coming out later this year. But yeah, it's fun. It was like a 45, 50-minute set. They do, you know, they don't just hit play, they do it all live and stuff like that. So it was a fun time. But definitely a kind of funny, like only in a small concert venue in LA would the guy from the band just casually be like, hey, do I know you to me? Like, why would you know me? But yeah. So that's my little concert anecdote of the week, I guess.
Dope.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Well, can't believe you didn't invite us, but you know.
It was kind of, I bought the ticket that morning, so wouldn't have really. Would you have wanted to go for future reference? I know I could have still asked. Would you have wanted? Yeah, you would have. Okay, on record right now.
I mean,
time this thing happens.
I take you buying it in the morning as a very easy out to not have to be like, oh, well, I bought it that morning, so.
Well, I bought it that morning because there might have been a work conflict this week because we had a person visiting from out of town that we were supposed to get dinner with. So I was like kind of waiting to see what day it would be, and I knew this wasn't going to sell out because they are a smaller act in a smaller venue. They don't have a lot. Like if I said Milk Blood, no one knows what I'm talking about. If I post a picture of Milk Blood on Instagram, it's not like everyone's like, oh my God, you saw Milk Blood. No one knows what I'm talking about. But they should. They're a good group.
I've heard of Mixtape.
But they don't.
And for that reason, you
But
didn't post
yeah,
about
next time I'll invite you then. Okay, now I know.
I mean, not because like I know who they are or I'm already a fan, but more because, in general, like I've been more open to just checking people out,
Okay.
checking bands out.
I imagine they'll do
genre.
another. They've done 2 shows in LA and 1 in New York. I imagine they'll probably do another in LA when the album comes out because they're local. So I will keep you posted. And if anyone else wants to join, be it here on the mic or any listeners want to fly in and meet up at a Milk Blood show, you know where to find us on the internet. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for you.
Well, at Milk
but
Blood
we'll make
shows.
it happen. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Damn. Well, now that we got the formalities out of the way, I guess we can start the podcast. And I guess because
Wrap it up.
there's...
yeah, it seems like
Yeah,
a good show.
thank
All right, talk to you guys in 2
All
weeks.
right. All right, Jason, go ahead and take us
So you
out
can
with
find us on the socials. You can find no. You what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I say let's start with movies. We have a lot of movies. It feels like we've seen a bunch of different movies in very different configurations between our groups. And I think the one I'm most interested in is Obsession to learn about, just because, and I'm sure it might even be the case with y'all as well. I randomly ran into the "This is a bad idea" or "That's a bad idea" skits on YouTube, and was just following. I think it's Curry and Cooper.
Mhm.
Yep, you got
Are
it.
the 2 people, and yeah, they're really fun dudes. And eventually they started promoting this movie, and I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. If anything, I was curious to watch it just to support them, just as I'm a fan of this stuff. I'll watch it regardless of what genre it was. But yeah, I mean, considering you guys saw it, really curious to see, is it worth it? Should I bother patronizing them? But yeah, I guess I don't know who watched it. I'm guessing you and Elvis and Kevin. Probably that one time when I got a message while at work. But yeah.
Yeah, I saw this movie, and I saw it with Elvis. I'm going to assume that Jason didn't watch it.
I have not seen it, but I've heard incredible word of mouth on it, and I'm intrigued to hear more.
Yeah, it's funny because I was not aware that these guys, or I guess Curry Barker in particular, since he's the director of this, I didn't know that he came from a sketch comedy background, and not only that, but a sketch comedy YouTube background.
Yeah, I literally had not heard of what Angel was just talking about until that was the first time I've ever heard any of those words in that sentence.
Really?
In
You
that order.
definitely
Yeah.
see the skits way before the movie.
I don't think so.
I'm
No,
definitely.
I've
Oh.
never seen the shits before.
I'm pretty sure I've
Really?
shared at least
I've
one with you, Jason.
Must have shared something.
Because there's a couple that I don't have definitely shared. I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my head I shared with you, Jason. I want to say I have, but I know I've shared the Dune one a couple times where basically, one person doesn't think it's that great, but everyone is like, "Oh, this is like the cornerstone of like
I don't
sci-fi
think you've
fiction,"
ever
because
sent me
everyone was
that.
just
Yeah.
No. I don't think I sent you that one in particular, but I'm pretty sure I've sent you other ones. But anyway, yeah, really fun. It's very I think you should leave kind of energy,
like
or
a-
vibes.
Yeah,
Tim Robinson sort of vibe.
Yeah, just very exaggerated, very just sometimes there's yelling, but just very exaggerated circumstances, like someone that is like, oh hey, here's your receipt for your meal, and they put a negative tip, and then you can't do that, and they just escalate it.
that one's hilarious.
Like, you already did that,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, you were talking.
Yeah, so particularly for me, like I said, I didn't have really this background knowledge on who these guys were. Obviously now having seen the movie, I've gone down that rabbit hole of all their stuff. For me personally,
Curry came out in Always Sunny. I didn't know that.
yeah, that happened. For me personally,
Like back in the
My
day, or,
rev-
was when he got his sketch stuff found by them.
I think it was maybe 2 years ago
Oh, okay. Oh,
that he
that's
was
fun.
on. I think I think the bowling episode. It looked like the
Oh.
bowling episode, but maybe it's not. Anyways,
It's the Chuck E. Cheese one.
So, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a fake Chuck E. Cheese, and he's just like the bellhop or the person at the front.
That's funny.
so the movie If you guys want to know what I thought about this movie, I saw this movie in theater 3 times.
It's only been out for like 10 days, right?
I
Or
have
2
seen
weeks.
this movie 3 times in theaters.
I can only assume this means the first time you were like, okay, this movie can't be that bad. So then you have to go double check, and then you double check. You're like, okay, I am very mixed on it. I need one more time just to like really cement my feelings.
And the third time I was like, no, this movie's shit. You know, it definitely took the third time.
$60 later.
You brought me to be like, I'm not crazy, right? It's just like,
Yeah,
this
so
movie sucks, right?
but at the very least, it's at the level of Mario Galaxy because that's how many times Jason saw it in theaters.
Oh, true that. This movie I think is probably I'll just say it is definitely the best horror movie since Hereditary. I don't know how many of if any of you guys have seen Hereditary.
That doesn't even ring a bell.
I know
Okay.
the name, but I don't. I've never seen it.
Hereditary is probably one of the best regarded one of the best horror movies of the 2010s. It came out in 2018. It was that movie specifically was the start of the elevated horror type of movie. And I love that movie pretty dearly. But yeah, I think this is the best. This is the best horror movies since then. And I might even go out to say that I probably like it more than Hereditary. That's my surface level thoughts on it. I mean, Elvis saw it too. I want to get his take because I wouldn't be surprised if I have more to say about this movie than Elvis does.
I loved it. I thought it was funny how, I think it's cool how, he's like, he brought all his homies for the, as actors too.
Yeah, Cooper specifically is the Cooper Tomlinson, who is like his partner, his ride or die since they met in
His
film
key
school.
to his peel.
Yeah, exactly.
Even like
Or
the main
his
character
Judd
there,
Apatow to his.
come out and
I mean, literally,
one
like
around
in all
Judd
those,
Apatow.
in all the sketch comedy that we've seen or the sketches on YouTube, it's literally always Cooper and
Yeah.
Curry.
Yeah, and then like I didn't realize I was seeing some other old sketches, and the person selling him the willow, the chick, was also like part of those sketches back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's like literally all his friends. So it must have been a pretty fun project for him. So I'm sure that helps making it.
Yeah.
But overall, it's really good.
So it's like an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, it is like an Adam Sandler. His Adam Sandler universe of actors that we're probably gonna see in his next feature film.
Damn, that's awesome though.
But it was good. I mean, like I knew the only thing I knew of the movie going in was that it was made by Coop Baker, Mr. Baker.
Yeah. Curry
Baker, and so I didn't know the plot or anything. I just knew that it was horror and that he made it. I'm like, okay, that's interesting because like that seems to be the trend in terms of like comedy people going into movies.
Didn't think of that until now. That's really funny.
But it seems to work out. It seems to be like a nice parallel between the two because they seem to be successful, even though I've never seen Jordan Peele stuff, and they're probably not that good, but people seem to like it.
Yeah.
And,
I'll go for it.
but yeah, I mean, his came out really, really well. I liked every minute of it. For me, horror movies, I've never, I still don't feel like I like them because of the genre. I never like actually get scared, other than like cheap
Jump scares.
Cheap jump scares were like, I only got scared because of oh my god, because the music cue was like super loud.
Oh, I'm not editing this anymore, baby. You can swear up and down this motherfucker. I do not care.
Angel, I'm so sorry for the loss
Okay,
of
all
your
right,
time.
24.
All right.
You know what's? I mean, honestly, it's fine
Stir up
as
in
long
this-
as you, as long as you put the time down. Thank you, Gomez. Thank you. 24. Well, I mean, the seconds really help because like a minute is a long time.
At least it's at the beginning of the 24 minutes. All right, so I'll be out there.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there were 2 in there.
Yeah.
Have mercy.
Anyways,
I am still but getting back on the horse.
Yeah.
uh,
I don't remember what I was saying.
All the curse words is what you were saying.
Oh yeah, but like, so that movie, I guess, didn't have any of that really. Now that I think about it, it didn't have like any cheap jump scares.
Yeah.
Or jump scares. I mean, I guess there was one, the car.
There's a couple for sure, but for like those that don't know, the movie is a take on the "be careful what you wish for" trope. You have our protagonist of the movie, who's in love with his childhood friend / coworker, doesn't have the balls to really tell her how he feels, so he uses this like novelty toy called the One Wish Willow, and he wishes that Nikki, his crush, the guy's name is Bear wishes that Nikki loved him more than anyone else in the world. And it starts off very weird, but by the end of the movie, the last 10 minutes of the movie are pretty insane, and it's not like this slow descent into craziness. It gets pretty wild right from the beginning. So that's the premise of the movie, where the standout of it is the actress who plays Nikki. Her name is Indy Navarrete. This is her first or her second like theatrical movie. She was a regular in that Superman and Lois TV show from a couple years ago, and she was in the season of
the
13...
animated one.
No,
The CW one.
the CW one, the live action one.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she
you're
was
thinking Adventures of Superman,
Yeah.
Angel, I think.
yes.
And so she was a regular on that, and before that, she was like cast in like one of the seasons of 13 Reasons Why back on Netflix, back when that show was huge. But this is like her first like starring role, and to say that she nails her performance would be an understatement, in my opinion. She goes for the crazy, unhinged girlfriend. Like she just throws it all out there, and it's really funny because I was watching some interviews and people were saying, well, like, why exactly did you go all out for this? And she said, well, I thought it was an indie movie, and I didn't think a lot of people were going to see it. And so now here you have the situation where there are a lot of like outlets like Forbes and Variety and The Hollywood Reporter that are like, hey, she should probably get an Oscar nomination for this performance. There's not a chance in hell that I think that she will get one, because horror is always so overlooked. But I think that she should at least get a nomination for sure. Like when I said that,
kicking off the career strong.
Yeah, like when.
Quick question though, like,
Sure.
based on what you guys have said so far, like, yeah, it's in the horror genre, but like, would you actually consider horror? Is it more on the thriller, or
So
like
No, I'd say it still falls under horror because you're just uneasy. You're like uneasy the whole time.
it's not
like Uncut Gems?
But
no.
is it like a weapons level of like? Not,
No,
I mean
it's-
weapons
it's
have some
more-
jump scared, but like it's
it's
more
mo-
tension building.
It's definitely more tense than Weapons.
Okay.
And like with Uncut Gems, you're sort of uncomfortable the entire time because of like how intense things are going on. With Obsession, it's way more unsettling. More than like you're filled with like tension, which can be the same thing, but I felt much different things, much different feelings of tension from this movie rather than the ones that I got from like in Uncut Gems. They do share similarities, like the way that I was explaining it to
I was thinking about Good
Elvis.
Times. When you said Uncut Gems, I was processing Good Times.
I mean,
mean,
same
same
director, so it works out. But like the way that I would explain it is, the second time that I saw this movie, I was way more like anxious because this time I knew going in what I'm getting, but I'm still like unsettled. It's more on the creepy side than just the straight up horror. There is some horrific imagery in this movie, especially in the back half. Like I would say, like the last 20 minutes of this movie, there's some really, really like messed up things that you see on screen. Like even Elvis said, like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that scene." But yeah, it's more unsettling. Like you start a scene and you're like, man, where the hell is this scene gonna go? And then when the scene's over, you sort of are relieved, but you're relieved into another scene where you're like, oh crap, where's this scene gonna go?
So it's like building levels of discomfort, while Uncut Gems is maybe building levels of just straight anxiety. It's
exactly
kind of what I'm getting from what you're saying.
That's exactly it. Like I said, there's a handful of like jump scares, but they're also not cheap. The same way that, when I saw this the first time that I saw this movie, I was there pretty early, so I saw the trailers that they were showing, and they showed the trailer to another Insidious movie, which is like the 6th or 7th Insidious movie, and I saw all the jump scares like telegraphed, like right from the beginning. I'm like, all right, we got the title, Insidious, whatever. I'm about to get a jump scare here. Or right before the title screen, it's like a character who is like in a pillow fort, like trying to escape the pillow fort because like it's whatever, there's monsters there. And I'm like, okay, there's the end of the tunnel. Before she even gets to the end of the tunnel, a hand or a face is going to show up, and sure enough, that happens. Like those types of jump scares are so boring. And yeah, I'm going to jump, but at the same time, it's like that's cheap. I don't think the handful of jump scares in this movie are cheap at all.
I think it's cheap because it's like, damn, my tolerance for getting scared is so low. I don't want them to just get
because it's predictable.
Yeah, because of the predictability, and because you are trying to get a rise out of me, not through atmosphere, but through like shock.
Out of curiosity,
it's the easy way out.
Is there? There must be a movie that going in, like, okay, this is going for the cheap jumps, and I'm all for it because I'm gonna get those little rushes of dopamine, I guess. But like, I mean, is there an example of that from like the catalog of like just this horror thriller genre
of cheap ones or not cheap ones?
Of cheap ones that you enjoy, like cheap ones that you're like, oh man, they got me so many times. But like
maybe Tucker,
or is that just always like, nope, I hate that. Like,
no, not necessarily. There are some that like what's that movie? It's the director of Doctor Strange, the first one.
Oh,
Sam Raimi.
Sinister. No, Sinister is the movie. Scott Derrickson is the director. But Sinister is a horror movie that has a really effective. Oh, he just dipped out. He'll come back in.
That's okay.
Yeah, but Sinister has a jump scare that is pretty much considered like one of the best jump scares in modern horror, and I agree. Really? Yeah. It's when
can you send us a clip?
I'll send you guys the clip. In that case, I won't spoil it. But that one is a pretty effective jump scare, as opposed to some of these cheaper ones that we see, like I said, in that Insidious trailer. And I'll send over the Insidious trailer.
What about from Neighbors 2, the clown?
That's one of the funniest jump scares of all time. The second time,
the fact you were able to just pull that out. The fact you got that out of pocket, just like read at the ready, like
how did you? That was too convenient.
That is so specific.
The second time,
because I knew he loved that one.
Because it's really funny, and then they hit you with it a second time, like a little bit later, and it's so funny. But anyways, I
haven't seen Neighbors 2, but now I'm gonna be like, where's the clown?
You'll see. But anyways. Like the handful of jump scares in this movie are well done, and they're not cheap. Then as far as the movie is concerned, like Curry Barker has the sauce. He does a lot with lighting, and it's not a situation where like, oh, this scene is too dark because the color grading is off, or obviously the lighting sucks. It's like, no, he is purposely using the lighting to obscure a person, because it's gonna make you unsettled. This movie has a great jump scare if you catch it, because it just has this one disturbing image on the corner of your screen, and it doesn't like pay any attention to it. It's one of those things where you catch it with your eye, and you just like jump in your chair. Aside from that, it has some like other disturbing imagery. Like Elvis told me about the one that got him of somebody moving in a very unconventional manner.
Oh yeah, that was the only time where like in an uncomfortable way, where like the hairs of like the back of my spine like went up. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's like,
Damn. All right.
it's just like,
I wouldn't call this movie like scary.
Literally
like,
hair raising.
Like it's not like it's
yeah, like I wasn't scared, but I was like, what? Like my body reacted like before.
yeah, like
Like your spidey sense was
Yeah.
activating
Yeah.
like with Tom Holland in that one scene.
yeah, like
Pretty
and like
much,
it's
yeah.
like it's just straight up unsettling. And for me, that is the type of horror that I go for, rather than the stuff that is, going to pop out of the corner of the screen to give me a scare. Not that all those movies are bad, but this is the type of movie that I enjoy. That's why I love Hereditary so much. Hereditary is very much an atmospheric horror movie, the same way that
But
this
what
one
is tension but the threat of a jump scare that just never comes out? I mean, I don't know. It seems like that's kind of it. Like you're only tense
Well-
and like they're because you know something's about to happen.
Well, yeah, but
But then
that's
it just
but,
never.
But
But you
that'd
just
be
never
a
get
jump
it.
scare.
But then if it doesn't happen, then okay, cool. But at the same time, it's like
You didn't
here's
know
the
how to pull
thing.
it off.
I don't think that there's a movie that is going to telegraph a jump scare and it just not happen, because typically it'll be a misdirect. Typically,
Oh,
it'll be
God,
the thing
yeah.
where somebody opens up the medicine cabinet in the bathroom, right? And you're expecting either when they close it something to be in the reflection, and if it's not, and if that doesn't happen, then what will happen is the
It's gonna be
character
like-
will turn around
Yeah.
and then it'll
Yeah.
show up.
And the boys.
Did that happen?
So
But yeah, like there was so many shots like that in the boys that I'm like, oh yep, here comes the silhouette. There it is. Bam.
yeah, so it's that kind of thing, as opposed to this where
when we direct
I'm
our
not-
movie, we're gonna double down and do it on the third beat. So like close
yeah.
close the window.
Rules of three.
No,
More
no,
like
no,
Do it on
no,
the
every
worst.
beat.
That
Do it on
turns
every
around,
beat. You-
no one's there. And then
you know what movie actually
They
did
do it on the
that?
first one every time.
You know what movie actually
No
did
rules of
that?
three.
Scream 5 did that, where it was like, this person's going to
Offbeats.
close the door, there Ghostface is going to show up. No, he didn't. Oh, he's going to open up another door, he's going to show up there. And Scream 5 did it 4 times. So they got us beat there. No,
Jeez.
but I to Angel, to what you're saying, I think the difference is, like I said, I'm going into a scene not expecting a jump scare, but I'm just straight up scared right from the beginning, or I'm unsettled right from the beginning, as opposed to like, oh crap, here something is gonna happen here in like a different movie. Yeah, I guess that's the best way that I can explain it for myself.
And I'm sure that's different in video games because I do love the cheap jump
VR,
scares in video
you
games.
know?
I mean, like, yeah, like when I was playing Resident Evil 2, like I loved every time like a zombie just got the best of me,
Or
and
like
then
came
you,
out of the
jump and,
locker
like,
and
Jesus
stuff
Christ.
like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like when they came out of the locker, or even if I just like you turn the corner, it's just there, or the random times that were I guess scripted, like where
A liquor
I'm
is,
sure-
is in the hallway.
I
think.
well, like Mr. X, like there's like one specific like punch through the wall that is obviously scripted,
yeah.
but you don't really expect it to be there. And I remember like one of them made my controller fly up, and I was like, God damn! But like it felt so good as well because it's like they got you. It was
Yeah.
fun.
I guess the thing is like a cheap jump scare can just come out of nowhere without building to it, and that's where the shock comes in. We're like, oh, you just did that to shock the system. You weren't trying to get me scared to a point where something might happen.
Oh yeah, like the cockatoo in Citizen Kane, which I think was like there to wake people up because the movie was that long, and that movie came out so long ago.
Oh.
I think 2-hour movies were not the norm,
Huh,
so they
I
felt
did
like
not
they
know
needed to
that.
throw. They felt the need to throw something in there to be like, wake up, or like we're
That's
still here.
funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a fun trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, like I the music is great. It uses a very like synth heavy soundtrack, but slightly distorted, so it's a little dreamy, but just messed up enough for it to be like, oh, this isn't a nice soundtrack. It's kind of unsettling as well. The movie was made for less than $1 million, and it just cracked $100 million at the box office today.
God damn! Like, how do you even? I
Good
mean,
for
I'm sure
them.
loads
You know he's
and
cracking.
sponsor.
Like the distributor of the movie bought it for $15 million. And
Oh my god!
yeah, and so then just putting it out, I obviously like double double that. Maybe they probably spent like 30 million on the marketing, but you're still making a profit of probably 60 million bucks on,
and that's just so far.
And that's just profit, yeah. And like this movie is making some box office history where the second week that it came out, it actually made more money than the first week. And there's a good possibility that this weekend it makes even more money than its second week, which I don't know if there's ever been a movie in history to make more money than its first 2 weeks.
Yeah, the word of mouth on it is crazy. Like,
yeah.
It's popping up everywhere. One could say
Is
people have a obsession
normal...
with it. But seriously.
Is it getting a normal theater run? Like, in theory, would Jason and I be able to watch it next week? Is it already out of theaters?
It's gonna, the way it's ramping up with word of mouth right now, and to Kevin's point about the box office, it's probably getting more theaters, not fewer.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah,
like they're gonna cut it off.
Well, there was a
in the mall near Jason.
There was this
I don't
like
know if I'm necessarily gonna go, but maybe.
There was a sort of unsubstantiated like claim that this was already going to be released on home video on the 2nd, so on Tuesday. I don't know where exactly that came from, but
I did see
like
that too.
There's absolutely nothing that like backs up that claim, like absolutely zero. It's just people thought that like, oh, they're going to do this because this is what they would do, but like no,
Yeah.
the movie's raking cash. It's gonna end up second at the box office, right behind another horror movie. This one by A24 called Backrooms, and
hey, that's the one everyone at work is talking about.
yeah, and then
video games.
Grogu and the Mandalorian are gonna drop to 3. And if you would have told somebody that a Star Wars movie was going to end up in third place behind 2 indie horror movies like 10 years ago, they'd probably call you crazy. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a time we live in.
yeah, no, I love this movie. It's obviously front runner for my favorite movie of the year. Yeah, I loved it. Elvis, it sounds like you, at the very
I loved
least,
it.
really, really liked it. Yeah, and then
I would say it's my favorite movie of the year. I haven't seen that many new movies.
I haven't seen
6 movies.
I haven't seen that many movies at all this year.
You've seen a good number. You saw Mario. You saw Mortal Kombat. You saw. Actually, I don't know what else you saw.
I guess Iron Maiden.
Hoppers.
I did see Hoppers. Actually.
Iron Maiden. Hoppers.
It's definitely gonna be
Well,
tough
this is
for. It's gonna be tough for a movie to beat this. The only one that I can think of is Resident Evil, and
Sheep Detectives. Oh, yeah.
Resident Evil might take it, but we'll see. Like I said, this is the first movie that I've seen in theaters 3 times.
Wait, really? You're optimistic about Resident Evil?
Oh yeah, absolutely I am.
I was down
behind
for
it?
everything until that moment in the trailer where like the thing pops out of the door,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I'm just like overthinking why it popped out of the door that way. But
It's just
or
another
maybe
BOW.
this is like, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, it. True. All it's gonna take is for this BOW to be like, you know, an amalgamation of a bunch of people parts.
Yeah.
But like the way like the legs come out of the top just looked too ridiculous to me in that moment that I'm like, this better be like a BOW that's like
Yeah,
his
there's-
hand is made up of.
Yeah, there's no way
full
that
human
wouldn't.
bodies.
There's no way it wouldn't be a BOW.
Yeah. But if it isn't, I feel like that
No,
specific detail. I mean,
I have
it's
trust,
gonna bother me.
I have trust in Zach Krager. Zach Krager is the guy behind Weapons, who was my favorite movie of the last year. Jason, I think it was your
Damn,
favorite movie of the last year.
It was. Weapons
Yeah.
was great. Mhm.
Like this guy plays the video games. Like he knows what he's doing.
Okay, well, I believe in the you that believes in him. So
Okay,
well,
I appreciate that. But yeah,
Watch it be
that's
dookie.
Yeah, well,
that's Obsession.
Wait,
it
whoa,
would break,
that
it would
movie
break my
literally-
heart. Dude. It
I would
would break my
hope
heart if Resident Evil was ass.
that movie literally releases on my birthday.
There
So
you go.
Maybe we should do a little birthday trip. Should
There you go.
watch
There
it
you go. There you go.
that weekend.
But yeah, that's Obsession.
Yeah,
Great
No,
movie. Great movie.
pretty cool. I am pretty hyped to watch it.
And
I'm gonna try to
might I
see if
say-
can watch it next week.
Andy Neveready is now the love of my life. And now I'll just leave it at that. My
Is that
my
the
algorithms are just
Andy?
her. Indy, yeah.
Is it? Oh, is that the lead male?
No, that's
can't
the
tell by the name.
lead female.
The
I
one from,
actually
Superman
did
and Lois.
Sorry,
right?
I'm not backing up a bit. The rest of the cast also does a great job. The main character, Bear, the actor does a great job. Cooper Tomlinson, Curry's right hand man. He does great. There's another actress in here. I forget her name. Sarah Lawless, I believe. No. Crap, I forgot her. The actress that plays Sarah, she's great in this too.
Yeah.
And Andy Richter cameos in the movie as
Andy
well.
Richter was in this.
Wait,
bringing it back full
I
circle
forgot about that.
to a cut of the podcast that we didn't air.
wait. Andy's in it?
Or get the take.
Andy Richter is in the movie, yes.
Angel, I'll go with you when you see it next week. Now I have to. I have to see Andy.
I am down to go see it with
I'm
you
looking
guys
at
next
Tuesday.
Week, if
Let's
you
do
guys
it
go
next
see
week sometime. We'll coordinate off mic, but yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. I mean, we tried late movies multiple times. I mean, I'll get into that short. Actually, yeah, the next two movies, Sheep Detectives and Mortal Kombat 2, it won't be as long of a discussion as what we just have, but both of those movies we saw at 9 p.m. start time. So I know that time is doable. Whatever
Sheep
it takes
Detective
to
was
watch it with
technically
you.
9:15, which by the time the trailers was done was actually almost 10. So
Yeah, and that was how we started the work week. But hey, I mean, I'm down. I like watching movies during the week. If it means, and since I have the flexibility of where I work, if it means Kevin can watch a movie with us, even better. But yeah, I say let's go to these two really quick. Since I was already on the last one, I say let's talk about Mortal Kombat 2 real quick. I really just wanted to just mention the fact that I just really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I expected. It was already getting a lot of positive praise, but I mean, typically it's hard for movies to get overhyped. I feel because I don't know, I just know myself, sometimes I'll enjoy a movie much more than other people do, or vice versa. Or they'll be fine. I mean, I guess that's just any media, but for some reason,
Got a roller coaster overhype.
I am more susceptible for something to be overhyped in a game versus a movie. And I say more likely because it can still happen. And this is one of those cases where it did. Oh, no, where it didn't happen. Because, yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 was kind of getting overhyped at work. Everybody was singing its praises. Oh, man, it's amazing. It's so good, blah, blah, blah. And, we watched it, and it was just a really fun time. It gave me a bunch of references. Even if I hadn't seen the first movie, just from the games I played, I knew more than enough lore to never be lost on anything. Oh my god, the fights, some of these Final Destination level background, just crazy choreography, was just super fun. It was kind of giving me if I was as into Mortal Kombat, if I was into the Mario series, I feel damn, this would have felt I could see how this could feel almost like a Mario Galaxy level kind of reference thing, or Mario 1. I guess the main difference is that there was a very, very simple story throughout the whole thing. It's just Johnny Cage, aka Butcher, just trying to redeem himself from, being a has-been actor, ex-professional karate champion, and just kind of going through a whole arc. And a bunch of stuff happens in between. It's a lot of fights. But, I don't know, it was really cool. I just left that movie feeling satisfied. I mean, how did you feel, Elvis?
I thought it was really cool as a Mortal Kombat player and fan. I mean, it was just, like you said, it was just really fun. It's just seeing all the stages were very video gamey, more so than the first one. I feel like the first one had better fatalities from memory.
I think I had
the one
two.
the one with Kun Lao died. I remember being way more brutal than a lot of the ones from here.
Yeah,
They're just faster.
the Kung Lao one was really cool. The second one, that one was really good.
Yeah, even if it had a moment where we were both wait, oh.
Yeah, that was how did he possibly predict that? But But I mean, overall the sets were really really cool. It just, I mean, they were like really straight, ripped from Mortal Kombat 2, or like the pit, the acid pit.
A lot of Mortal Kombat 2 love for sure.
And yeah, it was just awesome. And then like seeing Noob Saibot, you don't even need to know. I guess that one you kind of, if you didn't know about Noob Saibot, you would be like, oh well, okay, that just happened, or like that was.
I mean, it's funny because like even in the game, it's like sure Sub-Zero turns into Clone Man, but you know, it was still really cool to see. I mean, they never called him Noob Saibot at any point. I was kind of hoping at one point they would just say Noob Saibot, but yeah, they just say. Well,
yeah, Ed Boon, being freaking.
The bartender.
Stan Lee
in the movie.
Yeah, he's Stan Lee. He's Stan Lee himself.
Huh.
Yeah, he's a bartender in that one.
Well, it reminds me in I won't spoil it because I know you guys about to say, but in Mandalorian Grogu, the guy that runs Star Wars now, Dave Filoni or whatever his name is,
Bautista.
2 cameos in one movie, 2 times. Why? Why twice? I won't say where or how, but like why?
As the voice, as himself?
No, as him in his hat twice. It's really bizarre. Anyway.
But yeah, I don't know the name of the actor. Maybe one of you do. But whoever played Kano, I mean, same thing with the first movie. Like they were also just really fun to see the whole time.
I thought he died in the first movie.
He does. I mean, people in Mortal Kombat are known for dying, coming back.
Oh, okay,
and coming back.
Death is no stranger to that. Mortal Kombat.
More like I didn't know that he was in this movie. That's
Death is just a suggestion. Yeah. But yeah, it was. Yeah, really
he's funny. He was like my favorite part in part 1, and
he was the
part in part 2.
Yeah, he was really good in part 1. I'm just surprised that I actually like didn't go out to see this because I did enjoy the first one. Like the first one had no right being as good as it was. Not saying it was great by like any stretch, but it was like, I like enjoyed that.
Because the sequel feels like it was almost like, oh, we're taking notes on the feedback.
Sort of like an overcorrection kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like begone characters that did not exist in the game. I mean, he's there, but he's like barely relevant into the plot, and then he just gets killed off, like in the first third.
Yeah,
and then it's just like, all right, cool, like back to whatever.
That was just the Mortal Kombat cast.
Yeah, and even a character like Baraka, which like historically I've never really cared for. I just never thought they were that interesting. Just like, oh yeah, spiny sharp teeth dude. Like, even he had like some fun moments that were just really entertaining. It was just really entertaining. I mean,
I know like even Butcher is not Mr. Urban's normal voice, but I feel like
not Kyle, Carl.
Carl Urban. But it's funny because like even through Johnny Cage being like more American voice, I like in some lines I heard the Butcher coming out or like wanting to come out.
Oh yeah, he almost said oi. No, just kidding. But yeah, I mean it was really fun. That I'd be down to like once it comes out on streaming, like to watch it again with you and Jason.
Okay, cool.
If you're all interested.
Yeah,
I'm down. Maybe I haven't seen the first one actually, so I'd be wow.
that makes it easy.
Does it,
Kevin? Then,
but then that's an odd number. You need an even number.
That never stopped us before.
Watch the first one. I realize that. If you watch it, then we'll think about it.
What do you like? Quiz me on the first one. If I pass the quiz, I get to.
You need to know the
one.
context of the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's
context
fair.
with the K specifically.
Yeah, context with the K exactly.
Exactly. But I guess kind of moving to movies that Jason did watch. The Sheep Detectives. This one. Yeah, more like bad, but yeah, this movie
wasn't bad. God, you're so hard on it.
I don't know. It was boring, which is kind of one of the worst things the movie can be. But like, I'd rather it be bad and entertaining than.
That's so true because I love like B or C movies, but I'm entertained with them. But if they're boring,
it was that's just
bad.
I think aggressively average.
I feel like you're being a little hard on it. So when we saw the movie, so for those who don't know, Sheep Detective is the movie about sheep who are detectives.
Your spiel.
I just go real quick. Say it's a murder mystery, Knives Out style, but they're talking animals. And one of the things when we came out of the movie that you and your coworkers saw it with, shout hi Jeremy if you ever listen to this.
They apparently do.
You guys.
Oh God.
Okay, so there we go. But
unprompted, it kind of freaked me out. I was like, "What? No." But,
but no, one of the things that came up where you guys were like, "Well, Babe covered some of these themes," and then you kind of wrote it off as well. Another movie's done some of this before. So, and this didn't do it a different way. And I like Babe, so I don't need it like this. And I was like, oh, well, I don't remember much of Babe, and I like this. So it's not like the movie was bad. It's just the movie treaded ground that you got, or bore. It was boring because it treaded ground from something else you've seen. So it wasn't wholly original. Even though a movie about talking sheep solving murders would be original.
Wind that back. Okay.
Yeah.
Itself would make
for starters, like, yeah, if this movie is doing something that another movie is doing, that is perfectly fine. Like, other people could love it. It is, every movie is going to be someone's first experience seeing something. But I guess it's just the cost of just watching, just movies over the course of years, maybe just age, maybe just experience. But it's not just that Babe touched on a lot of these themes. It's just that the way Babe did it just felt more effective. Like, the fact that I still remember them. And even after a rewatching,
which is what's funny.
And even after a rewatching, well, maybe because I rewatched it around college time, and I was like, "Oh, shoot!" That would
make a huge difference. Yeah,
yeah, because it's like you watch it like as an adult, and it's like, damn, this still hit like pretty hard. There was still like emotional like beats, and like I don't know, a lot of things just kind of felt hollow compared to that. Like, not that like they just did them. Like, it just didn't feel like they did them. Because I could have also not have seen Babe, but I mean, and it just felt nothing. Like, I didn't really feel for any of the sheep deaths. I didn't feel for
spoilers,
especially the mystery.
Spoilers.
Like, even for like even like the murder mystery itself, like it was like barely a mystery. Like, it was basically on the level like a Scooby-Doo show. So you could basically.
No, I will say.
And we did predict it, like, well, I mean, like, almost immediately. Like, the first person I thought was it ended up being it. And as the movie, I didn't even know why or how, because you don't have enough to go off of. But it was just like the way the people are acting, the way everything is playing out. This has to be the killer. And as you watch the movie, it's like, oh yeah, things just start lining up, so that like, oh yeah, it has to be this person.
For a little while,
because there's always the quote unquote, it's obviously this person, but then it isn't. But then it's always like, oh, there's always that one clue that's missing. But, not to say that I found it terrible. Like, I thought the CG sheeps at times looked really good.
And at times did not look so good, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah, like mainly when they weren't moving, when they were being pat, they looked really good. But when they were just like jumping around, like being really animated.
It looked a little Uncanny Valley, yeah.
Yeah, which is just unfortunate. Like
there wasn't enough AI used.
AI. we don't praise AI around these parts. No, whatever they were to do it, whatever they used to do it, they stretched it to its limit. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was interesting. Like, and I think just none of the jokes landed with me. I don't know. I don't really have necessarily a high standard for like, there's a specific joke I'm trying to remember right now. Oh, okay. Like, the jokes basically were on the level of, I'll use one of the jokes as an example, where these two goats, like, beat up a car together, these rams, and then they get on top of the car, and then one of them says, that's justice, and then the other one says, no, it's just us. And that's basically, like, the level of the jokes. Like,
Wasn't that a callback to an earlier line, though?
Yeah, where they say the same joke again. Because they thought...
No, I thought it was something else where they...
Because they thought they were saying just us, but they were saying justice. So like,
right. Yeah, because I was gonna say in the other circumstance it went the other.
Like, that's
Andrew,
poetic,
you're doing this movie a disservice, dude. Because you're like, here's a punchline, but I won't tell you the setup that happened an hour prior. Because you're right, it's a callback, and it's not the funniest of callbacks. It wasn't the funniest.
It didn't make it better though.
But you took out half the context. So of course it sounds even lamer that way. It wasn't that good of a joke to begin with. I'm with you, but you kind of took out the first half of the
fine,
context.
But even with the context, like
I think
it was just fine. Like, I'm not thinking.
It gave a broad view of the rest of the jokes. It set up a precedent for the rest of the jokes.
Because it's not really trying to be like a hilarious movie either.
It's way
trying to be like
it's
an interesting line the movie's kind of towing.
Yeah, but it's like a kind of charming British-y thing that's not actually British, but that also at times kind of dabbles in Knives Out vibes, while also then in the back third playing to some like real like existential stuff about life and death and questions about mortality, and it kind of blends that all together in a way that is unexpected if you thought, oh, it's a cute movie about sheep that try and solve a crime, but to I guess Angel's point, expected if you've seen other talking animal movies where they discuss death, like Babe.
Yeah, and like even just like The Lion King, you know, or other animated ones where you just talk about the circle of life, it's basically treading similar waters. Not that's a bad thing, but it's just like, you know, it's just stuff we've seen. Like I did like the idea of like the sheep thinking that when they die they turn into clouds, like, you know, like, oh yeah, that's cute, that's endearing. But at the same time, like, you know, when it it unfortunately, at least like from my perspective, it just felt way too predictable. Like there wasn't really a part of the movie that felt like I wasn't even trying to like be like one or two steps ahead of it. Like I just felt like yep, this happened now, which, you know, it's just unfortunate. Like I can't control what I'm thinking or what I'm thinking about the movie. But what I will admit though is that this is where the hype kind of was weird about it. Like when Jason, Jeremy, and I to call them out again, when we first saw this trailer, we actually took a page from you, which was we'll watch whatever movie is like the 7th movie of the trailers, and we'll agree to that. And because we saw this trailer when we saw Hail Mary, and we were like, all right, cool. But when we saw the trailer, I didn't have high hopes of this movie at all. Like, if anything, I thought it was going to be much worse than what it actually ended up being. So I would have probably ended up being like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But for whatever reason, after this movie came out, it was getting like a 96% on Rotten Tomato.
Because it's legitimately, as a standalone product, not as bad as you're making
it
seem.
Both critic and user review. And I'm like, okay, something feels off. And then some people at work were also like, oh my God, this thing is so amazing. Like, I haven't seen a movie this great since, like, you got to watch it, like, blah, blah, blah. But then later, after a couple more people watched it, and then I thought, like, oh, on IMDb, it's like a 7 out of 10. Like, okay, that actually feels what I would rate. Like, it's not a bad movie.
Yeah, I would give it like a 7.5.
Yeah, like a 7 feels fair.
Yeah.
Like I, even if it wasn't my cup of tea, I would not rate it lower because it was still a quality movie. Like, it still hit the beats it needed to hit. There just wasn't anything that I was like surprised about. It just felt like I was watching a movie I've seen many other times, done in ways that hit me harder. But, you know,
which is funny because to me it kind of felt like a blend. Like I was saying, it felt like a blend of a couple of different things. So like it was kind of like Junior Knives Out crossed with like almost like a Shaun the Sheep vibe a little crossed with like I don't know. It just felt not. It felt like a remix of things. Not like a replication of things. Yeah, that's where I think we see it differently. Is for me, it felt like all the pieces put together in a different way. Even to your point, like you were one or two steps ahead. I don't think so either.
Because
I just said for me, it felt like that. That was what I started it with. Because even when you make the point about how you were seeing it one or two steps ahead, I had the criminal at the forefront of my mind as soon as it started. But I also saw them do a clear red herring. That was obviously not it. And then I saw them have like almost a secondary red herring where I was actually like, maybe it's not that. And I was kind of ping-ponging like, is it who I think it is? Or is it this other one? Are they trying to fake us out? Like, I don't know. So while I did correctly predict from the start the person, it wasn't like a clear line of like, oh, that's them. And every single thing lines up. I was, at least me, at one point, like, I guess it could be this other person too, based on a couple of the things they're saying.
No, that makes sense. Because I was just dead sure it was the person. Like, I wasn't even trying to figure it out. But then, so everything in between just kind of felt like, you know, how are they trying to trick us? But it just wasn't working. But because like it's hard to come up with a completely original idea nowadays. A lot of movies are just a mix of different things and ideas, and sometimes they click with some people, sometimes they don't. And this was unfortunately one that just like didn't really like again. I won't say that this is a bad movie. It just wasn't a memorable one to me. And yeah, I mean, after that,
I do think it got a little higher of a critical reception. And like I was saying, I'm probably with you at like a 7.5 or maybe even an 8. But some of those initial reviews were like the best thing ever. Yeah.
And this is why I'm not going to see any IMDb or Rotten Tomato reviews of I already forgot his name. Andrew Garfield's Wickedly Wild Tree Fort of Wonder.
His Chronicles of Narnia. That isn't we did the trailer game again, where we had to pick between the trailers that were shown. Whatever the 5th or the 6th trailer is for our next movie that Jeremy Angel and I do, and it's this Andrew Garfield
Kevin and
movie.
I did that all the time.
Yeah, he already credited you guys for the idea, but.
I said this is how we
on the recording.
I said that. A lot of brothers don't really listen to the podcast when we're recording it, huh?
That's the only reason we saw Sheep Detectives, because we were like, hey, like my brother did this thing that I thought was really fun or sounded really fun.
Yeah,
Let's try
but
it for Hail Mary.
The 6th or 7th, it wasn't Hail Mary, by the way, because I did not see Hail Mary with you. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Hail Mary.
You're right.
But anyway, like the 6 or 7 trailer was this Andrew Garfield plays a dad to these kids that go to almost looks like Candyland, but it's kind of Narnia, but it's kind of not. It's from.
It was Hoppers.
It was Hoppers.
The movie.
Oh, right. It was before Hoppers that we saw Sheep Detective, the trailer. But yeah, and this movie, I don't know what it's called. It's like some weird name, like
Tree?
The Big. Yeah, there it is. I was about to say the big tree in the land or something, but yeah, the big tree in the land, the magic faraway tree. Yeah, it's like they were like, we're gonna make Narnia without the licensed IP. We're just gonna do our own version.
Yeah, this movie looks like it's trying so hard to be the next Harry Potter, Narnia, whimsical,
wacky,
look at
wonderful
this whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we'll see it in August.
Would you like
we'll let you know?
Yeah, like would you like some punch? I'm gonna get a drink, and then they get punched in the face. That's.
Which I would argue is a worse joke than the Just Us Justice one from Sheep Detective. Just saying. I'm not defending that joke in Sheep Detective, but there's a spectrum.
I don't know why you're bringing that up. Like I would just say that is a horrible joke on itself.
But yeah, it looks like quite a movie. So we'll report back on that.
It might actually give me more enjoyment than Sheep Detective because it might just be so ridiculous and unpredictable in how ridiculous it is. But
it also has like animated people in it. Like it's like live action, but then there's like animated segments. It looked like or something. It's all over the place. It is a fever dream of a movie from what the trailer suggests.
I guess it could.
But Andrew Garfield's in it.
More fun.
Yeah, and Andrew Garfield is a dad in this movie, which just seemed like it just felt weird. Like I don't know. Like he just
goes to show we're all getting old.
Yeah, he just looked like Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man, but with like stubble.
No, it was more of a beard than stubble, but yeah, it was like a beard.
Yeah,
not like a big burly beard, but it was a beard. Yeah.
What was this called? The Great Oak Stoke for Andrew or something.
He's played a father in a few things.
Oh.
That's the name of the movie.
I do remember that the Amazing Spider-Man. I do remember Amazing Spider-Man is Kevin's favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, his interpretation of Spider-Man is my favorite. Spider-Man. That's not even my favorite. It is the best Spider-Man. He is the best live-action Spider-Man.
Like
that's not even a hot
Spider-Man
take anymore.
Specifically. Well, on that note, speaking of Andrew Garfield, oh shoot, I did not prep that transition without looking ahead.
Well, what are you gonna pick next? Maybe we can make it work.
Well, spiders are. There is a spider in Donkey Kong Country 2. I forget his name.
Okay.
But he shoots the web.
And he has little sneakers. He wears little sneakers on all his legs, all 8 of them.
Well, I was going to say that's a Nintendo game. And Jason has 2 Nintendo games. Or 2 games on Nintendo console. So, yeah.
I do.
So, do the thing. I'll
do the thing. Which do you guys want to hear about first? Do you want to hear about the suddenly very controversial Mixtape? Or do you want to hear about the WarioWare for phones, Pictonico?
Man, we're really behind the discourse, aren't we? That's what happens when we take 3 weeks off.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I haven't heard about Mixtape in like 3 weeks.
I know. I was primed and ready 2 week ago.
All right,
so
let's do Mixtape first.
All right, we'll do Mixtape first, get out of the way. Because, yeah, to your point, there was a lot of discourse at one point about this game on certain corners of the internet. I don't know if it's just me, but it does feel like, and this was a prime example of it, like there are games or narratives around games that certain crowds on the internet will just take to and run with. Like in this case, it's centered, for those who weren't up on Mixtape, it's centered around the game getting super good reviews. It's more narrative driven than a traditional game, and it was published by Annapurna Interactive. And because Annapurna's boss is part of the billionaire Ellison family,
which is Annapurna's and MO. Like I love what became of Edith Finch, which a lot of people do call which they call like a walking simulator, which
no, it's not. It has mini games. These all have mini games. Even this one has mini games. Walking simulator is you only
I know.
Firewatch.
No, I know. A walking simulator, like more.
Yeah.
If you wanted a specific example of that, that'd be more like
Firewatch.
Dear Esther. I think that was
or Dear Esther's a good one. Yeah. But yeah, the thing with Annapurna is like, so suddenly, even though yes, this has been their bread and butter for years. And admittedly, there was some drama with Annapurna a year or two ago where a bunch of them left. But yeah, so now it's like, oh, there's one of these games again? And suddenly
if it wasn't for them, Jason would never finish a game.
I do finish these. So the added layer with Annapurna that made this even more complicated is so Annapurna's boss is part of the billionaire Ellison family, like I was starting to say. And that means, well, then the reviews must have been paid for. Never mind the whole other situation with the Ellisons right now. They're the family who took over Paramount, and they recently gutted its news division as well as ended the 30-year run of The Late Show for what certainly seems like political reasons. And they're also the family that's now trying to merge Warner Brothers into Paramount and do who knows what to CNN. But then another wrinkle on top of that is the person who heads up Annapurna is Megan Ellison, the daughter, and she is actually more left-leaning while the rest of the family is more right-leaning. Yet none of what I just said seems to matter on these corners of the internet with Mixtape because everyone made up their mind prematurely. The game's reviews were bought by a billionaire who's on whichever side of the political spectrum is the one you don't like. It's not truly indie because it's published by a company that's run by a billionaire, even though the studio that makes it is an independent studio. And has been with other games this company has published. The game supposedly, according to some people, has 0 button inputs and thus shouldn't even be called a game, even though that's absolutely not true. And I have seen clips of streamers and the like doing what I guess you could call the video game playthrough equivalent of hate watching. So like taking stuff out of context, taking one sentence and be like, wow, this game's so woke, even though the game's like the most non-political thing you can possibly imagine. And all of that, mainly a few weeks ago, but still kind of, if you look around, it's still on the internet now. All of that discourse has bogged down and soured the discussion of the actual game itself, which is a bummer. Like I saw an article on Polygon, I think it was like a week ago, about how the game might now be too, quote, toxic to be in the running for any awards or recognition later in the year. And that just sucks, especially if you're one of the people who like work so hard on it. So coming into it now, I want to bring it back to the game itself, even though we're a little removed from the discourse, which is maybe a good thing, and look at it through the lens that perhaps is a bit more fair to the actual content that's actually created by the developers at Beethoven and Dinosaur, which is an amazing name for a developer, by the way. But
the most neutral lens, Adjacent. If Adjacent beat your game, that already says a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, to your point, I have established myself over the years as the guy on our podcast who really likes his narrative-driven short-form games. I'm the guy who just talked up Sayonara Wild Hearts, the Switch 2 re-release a couple episodes ago. And before that, you already mentioned Edith Finch. I gushed about what remains of Edith Finch. Like these type of games that use, a simple gameplay mechanic to propel a narrative, whether, it's a heavy interactive element or not, the fact that they're like interactive stories as much as they are games, I really have started to like that. I think in the past I've compared them to like the mini-series experience, but in video game form. Like I just really like the idea, and that is what Mixtape ultimately is. Like those games, it presents a story. In this case, it's a coming of age that pulls from themes and tropes of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Dazed and Confused or my personal favorite, Superbad. And throughout all that, you're led through these interactive mini games in varying styles, varying levels of depth that help to capture a certain feeling or moment beyond just watching characters go through it. Like that's what's so cool about these games, is it puts you in them, in the moment. And really is with Mixtape, like interacting with one of those coming of age stories. It's the last night that these three friends will spend together. They're trying to ultimately make it to a party hosted by one of the cool kids. And along the way, you learn about their history as friends, their parents, essentially what high school is like for each of them. It's leaning on all the tropes. The game's divided into like 20-something chapters, each of which is themed around a specific song on the playlist that the protagonist, Stacy Rockford, has curated to be like the soundtrack to their perfect last night. In fact, the reason it's their final night is because Stacy is going to New York the next morning to pursue a career in music supervision and like track list making. No, I'm not doing that. But and her going becomes part of the story, as you kind of see the impact and emotions it has on her friends, that she's, from at least the perspective of one of them, ditching them in their town. And the whole thing kind of structurally reminds me of Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, if you guys remember that movie. Like, it's kind of that vibe. It maybe has a little that, for lack of a better way to put it, music pretentiousness about certain songs, but it's like melded into, like I said before, like a Superbad or a Dazed and Confused. It's kind of like this hybrid, and it's interactive. So even if it's wearing those inspirations on its sleeve, what really stuck with me about Mixtape is how, because of the interactive parts, it did evoke a sense of nostalgia for things I never actually did in my life, if that makes sense. Like, the game is set in the early 90s. That's 10 years too soon for my high school experience. And it's also mostly not the music I listen to. Although, Angel, you'll appreciate this. Stan Bush's The Touch, one of the songs in the game, they even call out that from Transformers. It's like, has a whole little segment. So, yeah. But I mean, like, my point is, like, my high school experience was a tame one. I didn't really go to parties. I didn't really sneak out places to go on wild adventures with friends. I didn't skateboard. I didn't drink until college. I didn't get in trouble with parents. I was maybe, too goody-goody for my own good. But so many of the chapters in Mixtape are about exactly those things. And as cheesy as this is going to sound, there is something about how they do it in Mixtape, about playing those experiences, even if it's as simple as sometimes just moving a character around and hitting a button to perform an action. There is something about making you partake in it instead of just watching it that resonated deeper with me. Like, they're not all slam dunks. Sometimes you're just walking around a character's bedroom and you get little extra slices of story by, like, triggering a cutscene if you go up to an object, point and click style. Other times I can see them going for an emotion, but I didn't necessarily feel that connection. Like, there's one where you're skipping rocks while the characters are talking about life, and you can control, like, the direction and the curve and the power of the throw. And the writing's good. The experience for me was just, like, fine, though. Like, there was no... I was like, okay, yeah, you're skipping rocks. Like, it wasn't deeper. But then there are other parts that, now more than a week removed from me being the game, still are, like, popping into my head randomly. And I think these, while also pretty simple, do tap into some sort of more, like, shared experience type of nostalgia I connected with. That's cool. Like, there's one where you make it to the big party. Not a spoiler, all the tropes of all these movies. They always make it to the big party. You make it to the big party, and now you're controlling Stacy's friend Slater in first person as he's filming the party on, like, a camcorder. And the entirety of the sequence is just you walking up to people with the camera, but they'll interact with you. There's a button to high-five people. There's little vignette-like character moments that happen if you approach certain people. There's sometimes people that like hold out a beer for you, and then there's a button you can press to take sips as you continue walking around. And it sounds simple and maybe a little silly, but even though I didn't go to parties until college, it captured that feeling really well from when, we used to go to parties and stuff. Even if none of those parties were like this milestone, like we made it to the cool big one on our final night of our senior year type of vibe that Mixtape was presenting. Like, I was still smiling the whole time because I connected with it on some level because they just captured the experience of, like, navigating through really well. And it was, I don't know, it was a little thing, but it really stuck with me. Some other examples, lean a bit more into whimsy or imagination, but again, just nail the feeling of a moment. Like, there's a sequence where you're excited that you're pulling something off and you're riding around in the back of a car's on autopilot, you're not controlling it, but you are controlling the ability to essentially conduct fireworks going off in the sky around you. And the fireworks just keep building in presentation and creativeness as you continue down the road. And it's a very kind of cool way of capturing those moments, that feeling like I achieved something lofty. And in the game, yeah, it's just little fireworks, but it captured the moment. It did it. Or there's another one where you're out in the woods. Last example real quick. And it kind of evolves into almost like you're playing Flower, like the PS3 game Flower, where you're kind of flying around and dipping and diving and creating a trail behind you. And it was kind of early on in the game, and it did for me kind of capture that feeling of like freedom and that like when you're a certain age, you have that sense of freedom and possibility of what could come next. And they were talking about like their futures, and then they just start floating. It did it. I know this sounds so cheesy, but it captured the moment. It was cool. What were you about to say though, Angel?
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of the, I guess I'll say the really beautiful thing about video games is that their I guess capability is just so vast that it's kind of unfair to pigeonhole them to like a certain thing. But I do like I understand like the argument people are making, and maybe we do have to come up with like another name for like maybe this genre of game where it's, you know, kind of more akin to like a interactive experience, but you could also call that literally every game ever. So
yeah,
you know,
that's the thing. Like people are like counting like
it has to
inputs
dissect
and stuff, and it's like, what difference does it make? It's interactive. It's a game.
Yeah, like
You're told to do a thing, and you do the thing with an input, and an output happens. Game.
You know, it's not a conventional game, but it's also not a movie. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't fit in anywhere. Like, a game is where it fits in best. And maybe for now, like, yeah, like I said, like, because, you know, it's not in the same genre as a Mario game. It's not a fighting game. It's not.
I call them narrative-driven games. Which isn't even quite right, but neither is
because
RPG for role-playing games, if you think about it.
Yeah, because, you know, like, like Red Dead Redemption is, like, you could argue, like, a narrative-driven game, but it's also, like, a sandbox game. But it's also, like, well, actually, maybe Rockstar is kind of a bad
probably the worst example in this instance.
But,
yeah.
But any visual novel game, like any Ace Attorney game or, you know, Professor, like, those are 100% like narrative-driven games. Like, they're literally live or die by the plot. Because you're reading everything. Like, if anything, you're just pressing A like 90% of the time. But there's like, you know, there's like puzzle solving every once in a while to remind you like, oh, you better, if anything, those are just like quizzes to make sure you're paying attention. Like, you know, if you're really paying attention, then in theory, you're just reading a novel when you're playing Ace Attorney.
And like, and
you never hear the arguments for that game either.
Right, and like MEO, the Famicom Detective Club game that I really liked on Switch 2 years ago now, they did the quiz thing too, and it was very clearly just like, well, we need to make something interactive here. So yeah, we're just gonna quiz you on what happened. Like, so more so than like Ace Attorney, where at least they're like, oh, well, you're doing it as part of a trial. Like, there's like, let's review the case notes. Who said what today? Like, it's so blatantly just like, well, now it's an interactive thing, and I think that's what. With Mixtape, the devs just found these combinations of like dialogue, story, interactive elements that, for me at least, just created these moments that, like I had nostalgia not for the moment in the game that the game was presenting, because those barely overlap with me in my past, but the feeling that they were able to capture. And while they didn't always land, like I'll admit the first third of the game was a little slow for me, but once they landed, and when they do land, it was just really cool moments. And yeah, I think. And actually, I should say moments that run quite well on Switch 2. I'm sure it's a question a lot of people have. I was playing on Switch 2, both docked and handheld. It uses kind of an interesting art style, the game, where the characters have a slower Spider-Verse.
Switch 2 is strong. I mean, it's getting Modern Warfare 4.
It is getting Modern Warfare 4 with cross-play, cross-progression, and mouse support.
Damn, that was announced today?
Yesterday, yeah.
Damn it.
You're close. But no, I was gonna say, like, in the case of this, any performance issues they might have are already masked because the characters move Spider-Verse.
That makes it better. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. But the characters use Spider-Verse like lower frame rates than the world in the game. So like, even if there was any sort of choppiness or anything, because the game was designed for like Xbox Series and PS5 and stuff, and brought over Switch 2, you know, the Spider-Verse trick kind of hides it, so it actually runs really great. But to your point, Angel, about like, what's the name for the genre or that sort of thing. I will say, compared to other games in this kind of narrative-driven genre that I mentioned, I tend to think of when I think about this, Edith Finch and whatnot, Mixtape is definitely lighter on gameplay, quote unquote. Like, I feel like on some level, Edith Finch is probably the king of the genre in my mind. Both it and Mixtape do use narratives that have mini games to convey their themes. Both don't have high scores. Both don't have lives. Both don't have game overs. You just keep doing your thing as you progress through the game, basically, in both cases. But with Edith Finch, you move around a house however you'd like to build out the story. You're exploring.
Yeah, there's literal platforming sections.
Exactly. And then you're triggering the plot points. It's not linear in the way that Mixtape is, where it's literally chapter to chapter and you're just kind of cruising through. If anything, structurally, Mixtape is more like a Sayonara Wild Hearts, where it's a single linear narrative all the way through. And since I'm sure everyone has played Wild Hearts since I talked about it 2 weeks ago here, or 2 episodes ago, I will share a funny but accurate comparison I saw someone say online. The ratio of gameplay to story in Sayonara Wild Hearts skews very heavily towards the gameplay. The story is abstract. It's really just something to piece together the minigame segments. Here with Mixtape, it's like that ratio is almost exactly opposite. Like the story isn't the vehicle for the minigames. It is the crux of the experience, and the minigames are informing the themes of the story. So I thought that's kind of interesting, especially with how much they lean on telling the story and having the minigame kind of back it up versus the other way around. So... yeah, there's a spectrum to these games for sure. To your point,
Yeah.
I also didn't realize this until the review started dropping. Mixtape is actually by the same studio, Beethoven and Dinosaur, as another music-heavy, narrative-driven game that I played a few years ago and talked about on the old Round Nintendo show called the Artful Escape. And there's a probably small subset of people who have maybe played both. There's a smaller subset of people, if there's any, who are listening to this and have played both. But I actually
liked both.
No. I mean, I like both. I'm part of. There's dozens of us. No, but I think it's interesting to compare the two because Artful Escape was a 2D platformer. I use the term very loosely. You're mostly just walking around, and it's a game that had like vibes like David Bowie rock opera meets like Beatles Yellow Submarine. Like it was quirky, it was wacky, it was weird. But thematically, Artful Escape, the story arc about the protagonist like discovering himself and his place in the world through this kind of wacky adventure is pretty on par with Mixtape's themes as well. It's kind of a weird comparison, but the thing I keep drifting back to with how Beethoven and Dinosaur jump from Artful Escape to Mixtape is the jump from like 2D Mario side-scrollers to Mario 64. Like not necessarily one-to-one in how the structure changed, or like how it went from 2D side-scrolling to into the screen or something like that. But the idea that a lot of the gameplay and narrative ideas of Artful Escape kind of got this like 3D glow-up, and they're now in a familiar yet changed structure and format, but you can still draw the connections pretty clearly. Mixtape kind of is the Mario 64 to the Artful Escape's 2D Marios. So it's kind of just to watch the studio's progress in that way. But anyway, yeah, I do really like Mixtape. I don't know if I'd give it the full 10 out of 10 that some reviewers gave it, simply because, like I was saying, not every minigame hit in the same way for me. But I found it to be a very memorable experience. I'm still thinking about it a week later. Great addition to the growing stable of what's becoming this subgenre that we have yet to come up with a name for. That's narrative-driven games in my mind. And I really hope, now that the conversation and discourse is slightly dying down, to Kevin's point, I really hope this game's given a fair shake of what it actually is instead of what people want it to be or not be or who it's by or anything like that, because it's a cool experience. And as someone that loves coming-of-age movies like Superbad, and I enjoyed Nick and Nora when it came out, like it's a cool hodgepodge of a lot of those themes and tropes as well. So yeah, that's Mixtape. That's Mixtape.
The person that really loves Sheep Detectives, of course, would love.
I didn't really love Sheep Detective. I gave it a 7.5
we're
or 8.
We're gonna move on to. So, I was gonna go to Pictonico, but I think I'm actually gonna jump to The Boys' final season.
Oh, are we saving the best for last?
Definitely not.
Wow.
And you know what? Just to further cement that. We're going to actually jump to Manga Lounge because I honestly don't know when else I would ever bring that up. So,
Manga
Lounge? that was a transition fake out.
Wait, what's Manga Lounge? That wasn't on the list last I looked.
It was on the list since our first take.
It's literally not on the list. I'm looking at the list. I mean, go. Oh, there it is. It just loaded in. That's weird. Okay. Enjoy your Manga Lounge. Yeah.
So, Manga Lounge, for those that aren't aware.
Are you opening up a bag of chips? I'm sorry.
Yeah, also, can we talk about the
we can hear it. I forgot to make myself.
Jason.
I don't have chips. You know what's funny is there's a I listened to the Lonely Islands podcast with Seth Meyers, and there are multiple times that one of the guys, Yorm, just starts
What
eating
does that have to do with Manga Lounge?
Well, it has to do with his chips. And you can just hear him chewing the
bounce on
burrito on the
anything and
podcast,
everything.
and they call it out, and he keeps going. So Elvis, props to you for at least realizing and stopping, because that guy just keeps eating his burrito. So
he didn't fucking realize anything. We had to tell him.
Oh no, but once we said, he was like, "Oh no, whoops!" Like On the other one, it's just, I got to finish my burrito while it's warm. So I'm glad Elvis has a better mindset.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It made for good. Wait, did someone curse at 129? I totally missed that.
Not
Anyway.
that crazy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, well, because I have to edit it. It's more like, God damn it. I mean, wait, does that count?
No, goddamn
Kevin
it,
used
shit
to
don't
let
count.
those through. Yeah.
It doesn't count.
Okay,
huh?
thank God.
Wait, no, hold on. That one does. We
No,
followed the
no.
what can you say
I-
on broadcast TV rules.
I didn't censor
So-
those. Hey, if it can fly,
Whoops. Sorry, little Timmy out there.
if it
Yeah,
can fly and it's always sunny, it's fine.
Yeah, we're going by the
Oh
FCC
man, our vocabulary
Kevin.
just blew wide open. If it's in Sunday, it works here.
Wait, so someone actually did curse at 129.25?
I
You
literally just said. So now let me write down.
Oh,
Now you have to write
24.
that one too. Yeah, Angel, you're
Oh,
making
those
it worse for yourself. More work for you the more you
know.
have.
It's
Sucks,
already
doesn't
four.
it? Sucks, doesn't it?
I'm gonna pre-order my time right now so I could type it like the timer.
Well, I will say the nice thing about Kevin is that they do pre-bleep themselves, so I just have to drop the bading in there. Otherwise, yeah, then I have to like go in and like mute like the 1/4 of a second of the curse and then put the bading. I'm assuming that's what you do. I mean, that's what I do. But
I don't remember what it did.
anyway,
How about Manga Lounge?
Well,
Manga Lounge.
yeah. So Manga Lounge. So it's this place that opened up in Montebello recently. Actually, Monterey. I'm not sure. Let me double check. It is Monterey. So
This guy adds stuff to the outline and doesn't even know where it is. Wow. I'm just kidding.
well, I let the phone tell me how to get there. I don't worry too much about where it is. I just know
Wait,
that
what did
it's-
you say the two places were? Monterey and Montebello?
Yes.
Because one of those is 6 hours from here. So I'm hoping it was Montebello.
Monterey Park.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently, yeah, just adding park makes a big difference. And Jason's like,
It's a whole other
yeah,
city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's basically like less than 10 minutes away from where I am. But anyway, so Manga Lounge was a place that was on my radar for quite a while. Mainly because this person that, they came from Japan. They decided to start a business that were like, hey, we have manga lounges are a very common thing in Japan. Let's see if this works out here in the US. So I was already kind of curious, like, will this actually work out? Just purely out of curiosity, like, is there a market for people to just, go over there, read manga for a couple hours, pay by the hour, and, then just leave. Like, not necessarily go there to bring books to read, just read stuff from the library already provided. And at least so far, it seems like there is. And, I really admire, this person for, starting this new business. I decided to check it out, once, just because it was close enough and just to patronize it and see, let's check it out. Maybe I'll find something that I'm interested in. And I went there. They had, a first-person discount where normally it's $8 an hour, which, I don't know, kind of teeters on the line of, this feels kind of expensive, but I guess if you're reading a whole volume of manga in an hour, you could essentially be saving money if you're not buying any of these. So, that's something to consider, and maybe something that can change if they get more people or more regular visitors, because, they're still relatively new. So they do have to essentially stay afloat, which means that, unfortunately for this kind of business model, the worse they're doing, the higher the prices will be, and vice versa. But, I would like to see, they
Slow
did
down.
introduce, but they did introduce a day pass, for $24, I think. You get to basically just read there all day, which is great. But on the other hand, it's I don't think I would ever be in there for more than 2 hours. So a day pass doesn't really help unless I'm I don't know, just gonna knock out a whole manga volume or manga series for that matter. I almost feel like a membership monthly paid version could be more beneficial. But I've been there twice. The staff is really kind. They give you plenty of at least introductory opportunities to have significant discounts. And at first, I didn't take anything with me. I was initially planning to take the Japanese version of Ace of Diamonds to read there and just like, write vocabulary words on the side that I don't know, which would probably end up just be me rewriting the whole book verbatim. But I just checked out like their recommended books and I saw Witch Hat Atelier. And I remember that one kind of like Dungeon Meshi being recommended by a lot of people a long time ago, but I just ignored them. And then now that there's an anime, suddenly it's like really popular and, it's like just getting around. But, it caught my eye and I read the first volume and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. I'm enjoying the story. And then I went back and I read the second book. So I don't know what to do at this point. I'm enjoying the story enough to obviously keep reading it. Like, I'll probably just keep reading it. But I know there's an anime out and I'm really tempted to watch it. I don't know if you've seen or are even interested at all in any of this, Elvis or Kevin, as the other resident animators. But, I mean, or maybe you have a sort of situation where you're enjoying a manga and you're like, let me watch the anime right away. Or if you just like read the manga anyway.
I don't think I've ever read a manga like for an anime that I like. Other than one.
Oh, really?
And then Mob Psycho.
Not even Yakutaki Japan?
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
no, I
haven't
haven't read them. No, I haven't read them. I want to, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess, you obviously know you have them here, literally the whole thing.
Dude, I'm just start reading them.
Yeah. You should, because like the ending is crazy. Oh, god damn it. Well, it is. Like, it is pretty worth.
Oh, wait. You don't really reap what you sow, but you yeah.
Yeah.
Not the right phrase, but.
That one is pretty warranted. It's like, and for whatever reason, it's oddly specifically weird and crazy for Elvis. Like, it's for whatever reason, the climax of the end targets a fandom that Elvis likes, which is just funny. Like, yeah, I might have already hyped it up too much, but like, you'll be like, what the heck? Like, okay, all right. But, I mean, what about you, Kevin? Like, do you like kind of just double dip any chance you get? Or has there been a version of an anime where you're like, I'm just going to read the manga, I could care less about the anime? Or it just depends on the studio that's animating it. You think, oh, Mappa touched it. Ew, get it away from me.
It all depends on whatever different factors there are. With like JJK, after seeing season 1, I was like, this is pretty mid, but I hear the arc right after is pretty good. Sure enough, it's like one of my favorite arcs, so I read the manga and just continued to read it all the way through. But I find myself more and more reading manga before waiting for the anime to come out, or whether an anime got announced or not. So like when Dan Dan got announced as an anime, I just read the entire thing and I still to this day like read it on the Shonen Jump app. There's another one called Kagurabachi that just got announced, but I was reading that even before the anime got announced, so it's all depends on a bunch of different factors.
All right. Have you seen Witch Hat Atelier or
no? I have seen the clips and it looks amazing, like animation wise and visual wise. But I don't think that there's anything in there that interests me enough to like watch it.
Yeah, I will say, broad strokes wise, there isn't anything really unique about it so far. Mm-hmm. But the very specific, like, I guess, system which they do magic is interesting.
I have heard that, yeah.
This is
like
cool.
They create their own magic, right? It's like,
well, the thing is, it's like, it's not you're born with this ability. Like, literally anyone can do it.
Yeah, they have to like learn it, right?
Like, you just have to know what to draw. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, can you draw the symbols? And that's literally it. And sure, like, how straight you draw them, how perfect your circle is, I can factor into it. But it's just a world where anyone can do it. Therefore, it is so dangerous that everybody's minds are wiped of that knowledge except for the people that are selected to be the ones that know how to do the magic. So those are like the quote unquote witches. And so basically whenever they draw these spells, they're supposed to, one of the core rules is like, don't let anyone ever see you do them. Because, then they'll see that, oh, I just have to draw it. Or they'll just try it and then, realize that they can do
It's
it.
hilarious.
So it's like a constant like fight of like, that's why they wear like big cloaks over themselves,
That's
which
so
means that
funny.
they have to practice, that much harder to be able to draw the symbols without even seeing them, because they have to make it look like it's actual magic to keep people from going like, wait, I should try this for myself. So it's
pretty
like,
funny.
it feels like the kind of thing that's going to fall apart really fast. And the first volume, which is probably the first episode, like kind of shows how quickly that can fall apart, because that's kind of what like sets the whole story forward, because there are like forbidden spells that are like, just very catastrophic. And that, if you're curious, that I was going to say tickles your pickle. I guess I did end up saying it anyway, but it does sound intriguing. I mean, it is on Crunchyroll. You could just watch that first episode and just see if that sounds intriguing enough to check it out. But, it's interesting. And I'm just curious to see where it goes with it. But the Manga Lounge, I just hope it does well. I'm obviously very inspired and motivated by anyone that just starts their own business. Like, I have seen some families, not they were a Mexican family. I'm only calling that out because they were saying a lot of their comments in Spanish, which I just happened to understand when I was just like reading like the first volume there, because the owner mainly only speaks Japanese, and just like you could tell like they know their English well, but as I was just like having a chat with them, just like getting to know them, you could tell they were getting stuck on like a couple words, or there were like some things that were like just struggling to find like the most accurate way of saying it. Or even when I was just like getting really into the question, or like oh, that's awesome, blah blah blah, like it took them like a couple seconds to be like, okay, this is what you said, here's my response, kind of thing. Which, like, so many like props to them for like just taking this risk. And they already have like a couple employees, which is awesome to see. Like, they even got like, which is really awesome, like a manga artist to come to their Manga Lounge, and actually, because a lot of, it's still pretty new, so a lot of their walls are just like blank white walls, and they're literally drawing like giant panels of like really high action scenes. Like, I went today specifically because I knew the manga artist would be there, and she was just drawing like this crazy scene that just looked like a dragon like breaking through the wall. So it just had like crazy crumbly structures, and yeah, I mean, she is drawing it with like basically freehand with like a marker.
That's crazy.
And it just looks freaking crazy.
That's
like
crazy.
Just like, and they literally have chairs set up, almost like a little mini like play, just to watch her draw, because they know she's like the big draw. Well, pun intended.
Hey,
like,
that's good. That's good.
And rightfully so. Like, I mean, like when she finished for the day and was like done, like everyone was just like clapping, because it was like, damn, like she didn't even draw like freaking outlines or anything. It was just like, here it is. Here's like a dragon like freaking destroying like the panels, and like you see the ripple effects through the.
That's cool. I wonder if she felt the pressure of more people watching.
It seems like she does this a lot, so I assume she already has like a couple practice. But even then, like, I mean, this could also be like one of her first times in the U.S. because it seems like it was someone that they like handpicked, and which is crazy because like if they flew out here just to draw that, which is awesome. But hoping they do well.
Where is this place?
Monterey. It's really close to where you
Monterey
work. Like
Park. Not Monterey.
It's like 10 minutes from where we live.
Opposed to 6 hours.
Yeah, it's just called Manga Lounge. Like, I'm sure if you just like Googled it. But yeah, that is Manga Lounge. Damn, which apparently produced 3 curses. God damn. I'll have to figure that out later. All right, Jason.
Let's make it a 4th, am I right, fellas?
No!
Wonderful.
I'm just like, I'm literally staring. There we go. God damn. All right. I was like, as soon as you said that, I was just staring at the timeline on the Discord because that's what we used to chat. And I'm like, please, come on, Gomi's typing, please pop up. But yeah, let's talk about Pictonico.
Sure.
The random Nintendo game. After, coincidentally, a conversation that Jason and I have where I'm like, isn't
literally the next day
anymore? Like, did they just give up on it? Like, besides like Pikmin Bloom and Pokemon whatever's Go?
Yeah, Go. And I was saying it seems like they've kind of given up on the mobile games. And then lo and behold, they announced a few days later and then released the following week Pictonico, which, listen, I don't mean to make everything I give impressions of today be a comparison to something else. Like I was like, Mixtape, it's like this and like that and not like this and not like that.
I mean,
but
isn't that everything? Is that the whole point of Sheep Detectives? That it's a comparison?
That's true. Yeah,
everything?
I'm trying not to have everything be a comparison, but Pictonico is literally WarioWare for smartphones in all but name. Like,
it's also literally made by the same people, right?
It's, yes. But tell me if this sounds familiar, guys. You're given a series of 5-second micro games. Yet all you're told is the goal you need to complete for each. The micro games are wacky in premise, and they're delivered in sets of 10. As you go and complete each set, you unlock the next set. Some of which are new, some of which are scaled up in complexity versions of what you played before. If you want to practice one game in its scaling complexity, there's a mode you can unlock to do that. If you want to play all the micro games in the form of a score attack, there's a mode you can unlock to do that. And if you do well, you earn coins that give you weird digital knickknacks. In this instance, in the form of sometimes serious, sometimes nonsensical daily fortunes. And Angel, as you correctly point out, it's co-developed by Intelligent Systems. So really, the only thing that's missing here is the WarioWare theming, or themes, I should say plural, because unlike in WarioWare, where the micro games are bucketed into different themes with different characters, Pictonico just has one universal theme of Pictonico. So instead of them focusing on themes and stuff, it seems like those resources were directed towards playing up the fact that it's photos from your real life that are making up the micro games. For example, not only are your photos in the micro games, but the game will automatically capture every micro game you play in the background. You can have up to 500 stored in-app that you can then share at any time as both videos or a screenshot beyond the app. And when you finish your run of 10, it gives you a breakdown to review every micro game you just played. You get the sharing options and you're able to see the source photos so you know where it got pulled from. And then here's the kicker. It doesn't just use photos you take for the game, like how 3DS or DSiWare games tended to do when they had camera-enabled stuff. You can instead assign any album in your camera roll to use in the game, or the entire camera roll. It'll then slowly but steadily scan all your pictures for any faces, as well as intermix some... Yes?
It's crazy.
Yes?
You sold me.
I thought you were about to say something salacious about what's in your camera roll. But yes, it'll look for faces, and it'll also intermix. I said the whole camera roll, and he went, whoa, as if maybe he had something in his camera roll he didn't want to be in the game. And good news, you can block individual photos or only have certain albums be pulled.
Wait, is that what salacious means? Things you don't want to be known.
Salacious means, yeah, in a way. But anyway, yeah, so not only does it look for faces, but also sometimes intermix non-face photos of just like other photos you have into the micro games, like if you're solving a little jigsaw puzzle for one, or if you have to like line up photos to do a vault. So it's not just face photos, but it's heavily faces. So for me, when I downloaded the game, I went ahead and gave it access to my full camera roll. And it's interesting because, first of all, the pictures are kept entirely on device. The game will just slowly work its way through your photos to identify and extract out certain pictures, which are stored entirely locally. Nothing goes to the cloud or to Nintendo directly, or so they claim. They can interestingly pull images from your iCloud, like if you have an iPhone. And, like, I don't know if you know, but if you look at your camera roll on iPhone, not all the photos are actually stored on your phone. A lot of them are in the cloud, and they're just like placeholders. And when you open the photo, it will download on the spot. So the game can actually tap into that same mechanism, and it can scan stuff that's technically in your iCloud as like a placeholder in your camera roll. But again, not the other way around. Pictonico doesn't upload things anywhere. It's all processed locally. Relatively safe in that regard. Also, though, because it has to scan your photos, it gets kind of crazy. Like, if you have a ton of photos like I do, it will take a long time to scan them all. The game only seems to scan them when it's running in the foreground on your device. So much so there's actually an option in the game where you can tell the game to just not let your phone go to sleep. It'll just keep something going so the phone stays awake. And to be fair, it pretty quickly, when you first set it up, gives you a small sampling of faces and pictures to play microgames off of. So it's not like you need all your photos scanned. But the thing is, it does want to ultimately scan the entirety of whatever album or full camera roll you give it. So if you have, say, 97,000 photos in your camera roll, like I do, I'm not kidding, that's a real number. Before every set of micro games, it's going to take a couple minutes or to scan just a few more photos to add to its library. And you can tell it you want to start right away with whatever it previously pulled. But if you wait it out, you're talking like 45 to 60 minutes, 45 to 60 seconds to then let you play the next set of micro games if you want to actually help it import everything. But truth be told, it's kind of worth the wait. The way the game integrates photos is actually pretty creative. It's very clever or downright weird, just like you'd expect from a game made by the WarioWare team. But it's also fun in how it pulls from across a large range of photos, not just the latest picture of a given person or the latest thing in your camera roll. It's this kind of hodgepodge of stuff. It makes for this rather odd but kind of fun trip down memory lane. And it also adds kind of an element of surprise that you wouldn't think of from a WarioWare game. Like in a normal WarioWare, it's the concept of the micro game that's a fun surprise, right? But it's one and done. You see the micro game for the first time, like, oh, that's how that works. That's funny. Maybe you get the more complex version. Oh, now it's a tractor instead of a pickup truck, haha, or whatever. And then once you see it, you see it. But with Pictonico, there's this sort of like secondary surprise layer, because even if you know the game, the photos it uses keeps changing. So that's kind of neat. And I feel like ultimately this whole thing, the whole package is the type of experience that Nintendo was aiming for when experimenting with all those camera-based DSiWare games and 3DS eShop games, way back in the day, way back 10 years ago now. I mean, it's been there since the DSi. It's right in the name of DSi. As in a system that's custom to you. But when it came to those games they were doing with DSiWare and 3DS with the camera, like not everyone took their DSi or their 3DS everywhere. Certainly not as much as Nintendo maybe wanted them to. And not everyone used them as a primary camera, especially given, if I remember correctly, the DSi's megapixels per lens was 0.3, I think. I think the 3DS only totaled 0.9 megapixels with all the cameras combined. So there was this underlying idea of making games more personal for you. And these camera games were kind of moving towards that. And this idea that, maybe a WarioWare or something could perhaps pull its graphics and characters from years of your history and create moments that are funnier because they're related to you and your life and they're custom to you and your life. Like, this is something Nintendo's been gunning for a while, I feel like. It's been at the core of a lot of different stuff. Way back, even since back in the Wii, to varying success. The original Mii's were an early shot at this, putting your family in the game, your friends in the game. Then came integrating the cameras on the DSi and subsequently the 3DS. Then came games like Tomodachi Life or the Miitomo app. And they were met with varying degrees of success. I think Tomodachi Life maybe being one of the biggest examples of success, specifically around the idea of a core game element being humor that's custom to the player. And it is a success. It is the top-selling game in April in the U.S., period, according to Circana. Number one game of the month.
Why didn't you tell me about the mascot?
I was actually about to. Literally.
Oh, okay.
It's the
I'll
next...
wait.
No, it's fine. But yeah, so the thing I was getting at before I get to Masky, the mascot named Masky, is I always say, for those who listen to the podcast, and you guys have heard me say it a bunch, Nintendo never gives up on an idea. It's like a mantra. Nintendo never gives up on an idea. And this idea of a game that pulls from your life in a seamless way because it's using your camera that you use every day for years, that the 3DS and DSi never truly became the de facto versions of. But smartphones, those did. So those have allowed, I feel like, Nintendo to finally have this original idea retrofit for a device where it's fully realized and actually realized well. Which does bring me to Masky, because one of the things I wanted to talk about is Pictonico does feel like it's realized well. It feels like a real first-party Nintendo release. Smaller scale for sure, but the production quality is there. You got Masky. Every small Nintendo game has a random new character to serve as your menu guide, and Masky's the one. You got earwormy music. You got, kind of the bright, colorful, clean production quality. And even if you look at the cost, like objectively as a Nintendo game, the value's there. So in all, if you want all 80 plus mini games, it'll cost you $14 total. They're split into 2 packs. The first 50 mini games are $80. The remaining 30 are did I say 80? The first 50 are $8 and the remaining 30 are $6. But then when you buy them, it comes with all the things, all the modes, it's just more games. And if this was like, an eShop release on the 3DS or the DSi or whatever on any Nintendo platform, that pricing seems totally reasonable for essentially a WarioWare game. What I'm most curious to see is what the mobile game audience will make of that. Because they've been conditioned to think most games are either free to play or if they're, quote, free to start in the way that Nintendo usually means, that means there's usually some meat on the bone of the free part. With Pictonico, as you'll see right now, Angel, as you're going through it, you get 3 micro games and then the paywall hits. You're hitting the paywall within like minutes. It's
like
more of a
literally the
demo.
one that just experienced in the tutorial.
Yeah, that's it. You'll get 3 micro games and you're done. It's more of a demo of the functionality than anything
One
else.
of the pictures it grabbed is just my text.
If it's not a person, it will grab stuff, but it won't use, unless there's a face in it, it won't embed it in the character parts. It'll embed it in the other
It's
stuff.
more the clothesline. Like I just see
Yeah, the clothesline's just scanning stuff. And again, very Nintendo UI. When it's scanning your photos, it has them go by on a clothesline. Masky will go like, oh, that's a nice framing of that picture. Or, oh, when did you take that one? Or like, it's very much like the little orange bag guy from the
like it
3DS
literally just
shop.
said like, oh, that's a nice framing, but like it was just a picture of a pint.
I mean, it's a little generic, but nonetheless, it has that Nintendo vibe. But yeah, I think it's interesting because
potential?
What?
Smash Bros. Potential?
Maybe as an assist trophy if it takes off. But yeah, I do think it's interesting though that they're calling it a free to start game, but it is really just a demo and then you pay. And I think Nintendo probably divided the micro games into 2 packs, specifically to lower the barrier of that paywall a little. Like $14 up front psychologically on a smartphone feels like so much more than $8 or $6. So I'm curious how people are going to respond to that and if this could be a hit for them, even with that like very quick need to pay. I'm also curious what the intentionality is behind making it a new IP and not just another WarioWare. Like there are certainly ways, if Nintendo wanted to, they could have made it clear within a WarioWare like subtitle name or something that's a photo-based entry in the series. But they didn't do that. They're setting it up as a new IP. And that's a move
They have bigger
also
plans for
interested to see the
WarioWare.
return on. Well, I think they have bigger plans for this, perhaps. So there's a part.
I
maybe
mean,
WarioWare.
they could still cross them over. I mean, Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, after you 100% the whole game and beat all the hardest difficulty challenges, you unlock another set of harder challenges where all the characters are replaced with the WarioWare cast.
Oh, that's fun.
It's pretty cool.
I didn't know about that. That's fun. So maybe they'll do something like that.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I do think,
I'm sure.
but
Like,
I
very
feel
few
like I
people
would
have
have
reached
heard
that point.
about it. But
No, yeah, because it's like you have to have 100% it like multiple times, basically.
I see.
But
yeah, it's. I think they might have bigger plans for it. Like here's my theory. There's a part of me that wonders if, almost in a backwards way, Nintendo was worried that tacking on an existing IP may devalue this game in some way, which I know sounds crazy. Tons of people play the mobile Fire Emblems, Mario Kart Tour, Animal Crossing, but those games have, among many people, gained a reputation that they're not true entries in their various series, but these kind of like funky offshoots that monetize way differently, and for some folks just don't live up to the core franchise they're pulling from. Mario Run is maybe the prime example of this. I remember Nintendo even saying they were underwhelmed by its performance in the App Store. Just it did well, but they thought it'd do so much better. But it's not. It's an auto runner Mario. It's not Mario. It's like this kind of phonified version. And there are exceptions. Like on the flip side of all this, maybe biasly since it's my go-to mobile game, I feel like Pikmin Bloom has overcome that hurdle of like, oh, it's like a dumbed-down phone version. Pokemon Go clearly has. But I wonder if perhaps Nintendo thought, like, listen, if we make this a ground-up new IP that's clearly centered around your photos, it's phone native. It's a Nintendo game for phones, using phones, designed to be on phones, not shoehorning something else, not some IP that we're going to devalue. It's a fresh experience, like only Nintendo can deliver, truly designed for the hardware you're playing it on in that Nintendo way. And that hardware just happens to now be a phone. Go. And to be fair, that is what it feels like. It's a very solid game, production-wise, control-wise, concept-wise. It's just a matter of whether enough people care about this random act called Pictonico and whether they'll pay for it. In theory, you know, if the game were to take off, I do see an opportunity. I know, I think you're just saying like, oh, maybe they have big plans for WarioWare. I see an opportunity where Nintendo can basically follow in the path of WarioWare with Pictonico. Back when WarioWare first launched in Game Boy Advance, it was Mega
this is like
Microgames,
they're dipping
right?
their toes, so they don't want to risk with the WarioWare license. See,
There's also,
see if it's
that's
a hit,
possible.
and then
That's
bam,
possible.
Roll out the big boy game.
Well, they don't even need to necessarily, if it's a hit, they don't need to even put WarioWare, they don't need to do anything. It can become its own franchise. Like, so back when Mega Microgames first launched, it was similarly a single-player affair, structured very much like Pictonico is. And granted, in both cases, WarioWare this, you can show friends the wackiness and hand them your device to try it for themselves, but it's still a single-player gameplay experience, right? But then, as I'm sure you guys remember, Nintendo pretty quickly released an upscaled multiplayer take on WarioWare on the GameCube, Mega Party games. Mostly the same micro games, a few new modes, kinda, but all of it was reoriented around competitive simultaneous play. And if hypothetically Pictonico takes off, just, does well. Another thing that coincidentally is the case is one of the features Nintendo likes to talk up about Switch 2 is its camera and the camera support. It's, to them, a distinguishing thing that separates it from Switch 1. And if, hypothetically, you now have this popular new IP on mobile, all about inserting yourself and friends into a game and leveraging your phone's camera to do it, it sure seems like a Mega Party game style, let's take Pictonico and make it a local couch multiplayer experience on Switch 2 could be a logical next step if the IP catches on. So, Nintendo's always said the point of their mobile games was to get people into the Nintendo ecosystem, and we've seen them do it almost entirely with existing IPs scaled down to phones. But what about a new IP that can scale up to the console? I'm just saying, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's an angle here they're trying to explore. In the meantime, though, I know this much with certainty. Pictonico is, for all intents and purposes, 100% a WarioWare game. It's a fun WarioWare game. It's a WarioWare that integrates your life into the game in silly ways we haven't really seen before. And because WarioWare is a game that can be bite-sized or played as long as you want, it's really perfect for mobile. I'm having fun with it. Just be aware it's only 3 micro games and then you have to pay. But if you're willing to pay, it's a WarioWare. It's a great WarioWare. So that's Pictonico.
Damn. Well, I mean,
yeah, I don't know if you guys feel similar or different that like there's a chance here that's going to scale into like a real new franchise for Nintendo, but it's an interesting angle to think about in light of this being the first IP they've launched in this way.
I mean, just based on the demo, I did get a kick out of like, oh, look at me chewing on candy, and that's kind of it. But I mean, but I think the potential just for like some of the other mini games they showed, like, oh, we could also do this. Just seems kind of fun. It's just more like I'm curious just to let it play with my whole camera roll and just see what pops up.
Mm-hmm.
But I did stop just short of paying for it. I don't know what it is.
And that's going to be their downfall.
It's not that expensive, but the fact that you have Volume 1 and Volume 2 available from the get-go just feels a little weird to me. It feels like, why is this not just available from the beginning? It's just like, just make it $14. Maybe that's why they did it.
Well, like
why not just release like the first one that's just $7, and then release the other one later on as like the $5.99.
That is a good idea.
But the fact they're available simultaneously,
the reason it's not 14,
or the fact that I can't pay for them simultaneously, doesn't feel great. Super minor, very minor thing.
So a couple thoughts. One, the $14 I think is a psychological barrier for mobile game players, smartphone players that like Nintendo didn't want to broach. And I don't think they have full confidence in what price point is right. So my guess is they have the $8 and the $6 available at once to see which one gets bought more and maybe adjust in the future. I do think your idea that if they staggered them and then did it as kind of like a prolonged marketing campaign, that would keep the game in the news cycle and the gamer headspace, like mindset, a little more than it is right now, where it's just like, it's out, go, we're never talking about it again. But by that same token, because they do some both simultaneously, there is a mix mode where you can play games from between the packs and do stuff between the packs and whatnot. And in theory, I guess that could have rolled out with Volume 2 whenever they rolled out Volume 2. but it is one of the options in the menus right now. When you boot it up, it's pack 1, pack 2, or mix. So they are trying maybe to signal, to people, hey, if you got $6, great. If you got $8, great. If you want to pay the $14, you also get this whole third tab too. So maybe that's another, again, maybe it speaks to their lack of not being sure how people will respond to it, that they have like price 1, price 2, or essentially price 3 by having that third tab that just doesn't spell it out. And they maybe aren't putting the 14 there because of the psychological barrier, making it so you have to buy them separately, much to your chagrin. But that's what's interesting about it to me is it's a Nintendo game presented as a Nintendo game created by Nintendo opposed to outsourcing it to DENA or someone. And yet they're still kind of like having to play by the rules of the mindset of mobile game players, when this would have been a no question, slam dunk, $14 on the eShop, absolutely type of purchase otherwise, you know? So that might be possibly why it's like this, but I agree, it's a little odd.
Yeah, but I guess fingers crossed, because, you know, I applaud their quirky ideas, and I'm, damn, I want to say I'll
I still
definitely
think
check
they
it
didn't
out,
want to
but
risk WarioWare IP.
we can't tarnish Warrior's
You think
reputation.
they're shielding WarioWare? I mean, it would have been so easy to riff with the WarioWare premise of like, oh, he's trying to get in on the mobile game boom, but he like does it all wrong, and like, you know, he accidentally, like, all your photos are accidentally like on his hard drive, or like like they could have totally had fun with that. So I think it's less hurting Wario and more trying to build something new.
Damn.
Who knows? I haven't beaten all the minigames. Maybe Wario pops up at the end as kind of like a nod in the rhythm heaven way that Angel was
That's
talking
true.
about. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only gone through, like, I think I'm on like stage 8 or 9 of pack 1. So I've done a fair share, but definitely not the whole thing yet.
Well, I guess on that note, better late than never. The big one, the finale to how many years has The Boys been going on? But basically, we're talking about The Boys finale. I'll just let you and you, as in Kevin and Nobis, take it away.
Well, real quick. I was going to dip out of this part. Well, no. We talked about this before. I was going to dip out because at some point I'm apparently watching the next. The other 4 seasons. I've only watched season 1. Wow. Yeah. So I'm going to dip out from this part. We have 2 options, guys, because this is the last topic. Do I do the show notes now and never return for the rest of this episode?
Honestly, you could probably stay in and.
Or do you bring me back at the very end to do show notes?
You're doing show notes.
Now?
No, after.
Okay. So I'm going to disappear and get real quiet. Someone please ping me when you're done.
Like it, yeah.
I'm just going to sit and stare at the wall.
All right.
It's going to be a grand old
Have
time.
fun.
Okay. See you soon.
Bye.
We did.
Finally.
Right. Damn, Jason free since '93. I mean, do we even want to? Or do you want to talk about anything else about besides The Boys before we start talking about The Boys? We just have like a whole. We should have a whole other podcast before Jason gets back. But yeah, anyway. So The Boys, I feel like I think I only started watching it because of you and Elvis, or one of you told me about it. But anyway, yeah, I did watch it, or I did finish it, but I'll just chime in randomly. So yeah, whoever wants to start.
I mean, at the end of the day, season 5 was not the best. I think it was better than season 4. Season 4 I really didn't like. But like the entire season, as far as it went, it was probably like maybe a 6, maybe a 7 out of 10. But I did really like the finale. At least those are my thoughts on the season.
I enjoyed it for the. It wasn't
You
until, like-
have to be louder. You have to be louder.
Oh shit, you're right. I think I was enjoying it. I enjoyed it. And people when I saw people talk about it and describe why they hated it, they did have or make me aware of some points too. Like, oh, okay, I guess they did kind of drop some plot points, or made it seem like they were gonna focus on other things, like the kid. But then the kid was like pretty much wasn't there until like the very end.
Yep. Angel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think after you made that point, I made sure to not look at any of the discourse. But there were a lot of things about that season that just felt very contrived. Mainly a lot of the arguments and just like, I guess, points of conflict. Like, it felt like every single, I mean, and maybe this is, someone will find this as a good thing, but like every single opportunity that there could have been for a miscommunication, a point to fight about, just happened to happen. And that felt a little annoying. I mean, yeah, like there was one episode that kind of revolved around that, where
that waste of an episode. When they went to,
like
what
that
a
one
waste
just,
of
That dude.
well, it was just like,
when they go into the lab that makes them all angry.
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
that
you're
episode.
right.
That episode was just a complete waste of time.
Yeah, because there was just like a lot of like oh god, they're gonna, are they gonna kill each other? Like, no, they're not. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like
the biggest problem with this season is it is the final season of The Boys, and it just felt like a regular season of The Boys. It did not feel like 5 episodes in. I'm like, we're supposed to wrap this up in 3 episodes.
Yeah,
They're like they haven't done anything. They're still planning how to like take down Homelander.
yeah, there's a lot of things that people say that sound
the
like
trade-off
be
is
like,
so
like
fast.
oh yeah, this sounds like this is like what it's building up to, but like a lot of that just doesn't happen. But oh man, I had a point. I'm going with the other one, but yeah, like for the most part, I don't know. Yeah, it just kind of felt like it was like kind of, I guess I'll say treading water. Like the parts that I found the most interesting were the parts with Noir, like specifically Noir, like the Deep.
Okay.
Like, yeah, their banter is like, it's always entertaining, but like it kind of felt like at one point the Deep was gonna go through a more interesting arc, kind of in the same way that A-Train kind of went, and yeah, like it kind of just felt like, damn, like all right, that's how A-Train's going, but yeah, they had like a whole little like kind of poetic end where they started the series bursting through someone, and then they meet their end because they went out of the way to not run into someone, and then then they get killed for it. Yeah. But there was like some stuff like that was pretty neat, or even maybe I guess like where Huey ends. But wait, did Huey really name his daughter after his dead girlfriend? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I necessarily feel that's a bad thing or a good thing. It just felt like, that's interesting. Or like
I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, that is the catalyst for literally everything that happens in the show. And then like some people were there's some takes of like, man, did he really name her after his ex-girlfriend? I'm like, it's not really his ex-girlfriend when she was killed. Like, it's not like they broke up. It's obviously a not like an honor. It's obviously like
it's a symbol, but
it's a symbol. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like
I didn't mind.
In context, it makes way more sense. But yeah, like if you just deconstruct the two, like, oh yeah, he just named his first daughter after his ex. It's like, yeah, without anything else, like, yeah, that sounds kind of like.
And once again, she is not his ex. It's his late girlfriend.
Exactly.
It's not
exactly. Yeah. Like the fact that I just like devolved her to that. Yeah, like they were very much like really in love, and it was very much like cut short. And I did enjoy like seeing like A-Train go through his arc. Like it felt.
Yeah, A-Train had probably
earned.
the best arc in the series. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like seeing him like get turned around, but then while it felt at one point that the Deep was going through a similar vein, and then he almost kind of like ends up doubling down on the opposite direction. But I did really enjoy the whole like the ultimate revenge on him was to like break that pipeline, and then suddenly like you just can't go into the ocean. Like I just thought that was hilarious.
When the guy is drowning, and everybody's like, "Deep, do something!" And he just runs away.
Yeah, like
I did really like the fact that the Deep's character arc was just refusing to evolve and just stayed a shitty person. I did enjoy that. Like,
it was Butcher and the boys that blew the pipeline.
No, it was Noir because he was getting revenge because Deep killed his the whole eel thing.
Yeah,
it was just like petty. It was all petty.
So
yeah,
okay, yeah. So Starlight didn't know that.
Yeah, Starlight didn't know when she pushed him in. That's why she's like slightly confused when like he's getting surrounded by everybody.
But also, wouldn't that be like disadvantage? Like you wouldn't want to throw the seed.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was like
so water.
She blasted him through the window, and then like
she did not blast him through the window. She blasted with him through the window.
She blasted with she freaking Raiden, Superman them through the window. As soon as that happened, I'm like, they're gonna end up near the ocean. Like that was just like,
and my only thing to that is,
and I'm like, I figure like Starlight, unless like there was a reason why she couldn't control where she was going. Like, why would she go to the beach?
I'm willing to bet that, or one of my things that I'm willing to like suspend my disbelief
he had to die.
That she just didn't know where she was landing. She just Superman rushed them, and that's where they ended up landing by water. That's my only thing.
Because they were in
why she would blast them.
They were in the White House.
Yeah,
is a different story.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but also, we never really saw the Deep do anything in the water except talk to fish. But he always swam with the dolphins, right? Like, it was never like he was Aquaman and just like speeding through water. We never saw that throughout the entire series.
We never saw something fast. He was just always like communicating.
He was like on a dolphin, it was with like the help of the ocean.
And I guess he
went
to
ocean life.
The equivalent of like a high school with like fish. Like he seemed to have like a relationship or some kind of like acquaintanceship with every freaking marine mammal, which was just hilarious because like when the hammerhead shark was like the whole like get in the water, get in the water.
That was one of my favorite scenes. Was it the hammerhead shark that was Samuel L. Jackson?
That was Samuel L. Jackson?
It was Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, the one that told him not to get in the water.
Because like, are you going to pick that up? And then he thought like, no, leave me alone. They're like, oh, no, it's like, screw you. Like, you touch the water, you're dead. Everybody knows about blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Awesome. But, and then that's why also I'm willing to like sort of wave away Starlight blowing him into the water because realistically, what is he going to do? With the fish aren't going to get out onto the sea to fight for the Deep. So
and I'm
willing to wave away some of those things.
Yeah, like I mean, I figure like that would be how he would meet his end, but at the same time, it was like a lot of people were just dying like back to back to back. It was just like, what felt like the fastest way to get him dead at that point, because right before that they killed Father like with the whole gag thing, and
with the ball gag.
Yeah. Like, it just felt like people were just, like, falling, like, because we had to wrap this up.
Yeah, and that's the worst part of the season, of just, like, how rushed it is because they spent so much time dicking around. Like, I did like that episode that focused on all the characters separately, where, like, you go through, like Firecracker, Black Noir.
I was confused at first. I'm like, is the whole episode going to be just Firecracker? But then it was like, oh, okay, this is what you're doing.
Which I really liked that episode. And that episode, a lot of people didn't like and thought it was a waste. I actually did like that episode. But, like, that episode when they went to go get the V1.
Maybe, like, didn't need to focus on, like, the dog that much.
Anybody
else.
But, media literacy is dead in this day and age. And have something exploding at all times. People are gonna get mad. The episode where Soldier Boy and Homelander go to the celebrity's house is that the same episode or is that separate?
That's a different episode.
That's a different episode. That was another.
Yeah, that was almost the whole episode. Yeah, the whole like
just
Rogan. Everybody died to the speedster, which was pretty fun.
Just like. A lot of this.
That's right.
That was a very Jason coded. That's why I said Jason coded. I'm like, damn, like Jason would not be.
Oh, that's what you meant.
I'm like, oh yeah,
now I get that comment that you made.
They even, I'm pretty sure they mentioned Superbad. Like, it's literally like a whole Superbad thing going on there.
Like, don't get me wrong, I did like the cameos, but just like I said, so much of this season, of this final season, is just the boys. Still, the boys were still planning up until the second last episode, where they're like, okay, we're gonna irradiate Kimiko. It was like, why didn't you just make this? Why didn't the writers just do this right from the beginning? It's just, like I said, overall, like I didn't think I liked it better than the last season, but I would still consider it the second worst season. Because I think seasons 1, 2, and 3 are really, really good.
Yeah, like correct me if I'm wrong, but like the first couple seasons felt like they weren't specifically referencing any particular event. It was just like, oh yeah, what if superheroes were a product in like the modern day? But then like this season in particular felt like they were going after so many very specific things that were happening recently. Like, I don't know why, but like the whole like TikTok thing, there was something else. But I mean, even like to a lesser extent, the whole Nicole Kidman theater thing, like, I don't know, it felt like it was trying really hard to reference it. Oh, the whole AI thing as well. Like, I'm like, was that even part of like the original script? Like, it just kind of felt like that whole footage of the airplane incident had a bigger role initially, and then they were just like, oh, it was AI. AI the thing now. Let's just use that to like write it off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were mad that like a lot of what kept Homelander at bay was that video coming out.
For it to not matter at all.
For it to like to just be waved away.
Yeah, and even then it's like even with their like oh, I don't have 6 fingers. It's like, yeah, well, there were a lot of people that they showed were recording the original video. Like, there's no way other people wouldn't be like, wait, I saw the video of the original video that didn't have 6 fingers. Or, there's no way that, over things to easy way to overthink it. But
yeah.
At the end of the day.
But as far as the the finale of it, like the actual last episode, I liked it. I did like that the show did end with Huey and Butcher. Well, I mean, we're spoiling this, but I did enjoy the fact that it did have to be Huey to essentially take down Butcher at the end. And when Jack Quaid cries, I cry. I did get emotional at that. Because it's these characters that
him after the season where you're like, yeah, I get it. I get Jack Quaid.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But here's the thing, and we're going away from the boys. But like with Jack Quaid, if I understand that you don't like him because he plays the same character across everything, but at least for this is the first time that he's done this role. So just the fact that he keeps doing it for everything else, does that retroactively make this performance worse?
You could say he started off fine, and then because he had a career in between the beginning and the finale, it did kind of sour it.
Okay, because I can understand if you don't like his other stuff because he's playing the same character, but this is the original.
This is Huey.
That he's playing. Yeah,
he's supposed to be consistent.
Yeah.
He gets a pass for the boys.
Okay. But yeah, like Huey didn't do anything this season. Now that I remember, like he had that speech in the first episode.
Yeah, I kind of didn't like the.
And he said like, "You got your thing, I have my thing." Like, was he always a tech thingy, like a tech guy? Like,
yeah, well, he was in the first season he was the audio video guy because he worked at the tech store.
I barely remember that. Or I feel like that didn't really come up like often enough for me to be like.
It came up in the last episode where like they opened up their own electronics store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like between like the establishing shot, but like I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but like it felt a little that argument that him and I was gonna say Starlight had in the first episode felt a little.
In the first couple episodes, yeah,
where
I understand where Starlight was coming from, but he just like didn't go anywhere. It was just
he said like he calls out like a name like I need to go over here, and then she's like what, and then then she like takes Frenchie and like Kimiko first.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh man, she left before me." He's like, "You just kind of did the same thing," and neither of you like even like talked about it. Like I don't know, like it felt like just like conflict just to create conflict. Like that didn't even really last, so it's not even like worth like being like, "Oh yeah, that ruined the whole thing." Didn't ruin anything. It was just like, okay, let's just get over this.
Yeah, I know unfortunately, just a lot of this season didn't really matter. By like, if you think about it, the first 6 episodes of this season didn't matter. Because everything that was important for the last 2 episodes happened in those last 2 episodes. The virus didn't matter. The virus that they were working on didn't matter to take down Homelander. Because
there was this whole V1 chase.
Yeah, the whole V1 chase like didn't matter because none of the heroes got the V1. It was Homelander. The virus didn't matter because they eventually just used Kimiko to irradiate him, and that was introduced in that fucking episode. Whoops. All right. So you can argue that, like, yeah, a lot of this season just didn't matter. And which is it's the last season of The Boys. Like, what are we doing?
Hope you got that down.
That's how they wanted to go.
And then, like, not to mention, a lot of this season was just setting up the spin-off, the new one. Which does look good. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to watch it, but then I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, this looks interesting enough for like a season or 2 to watch.
I have not seen the trailer.
The trailer's actually like good. It looks different enough from The Boys. Because like Gen V is just The Boys in the college. This looks like a completely different setting.
Yeah, like one thing I'll say, like cool. I did enjoy like the way it wrapped up. But one of the, I would say like the biggest draws for myself and maybe some people, like for The Boys, was like just seeing the Butcher, just like a dude and some other people, some other guys that just really hated Soup, just find really creative ways to
take him out.
Yeah, take them out, constantly outsmart them, use their own powers against them. But then like by the very end, especially because Butcher was also just like someone with like V1 with freaking tentacle powers. Like, you know, bullets didn't matter. It was just like a slugfest. It was just like every time he got thrown against the wall, it was like, that means nothing. Every time they each got punched, it like, that means nothing. It's just like, you know, like, because at that point, like, we don't know, they're both clearly strong. Like, it was just kind of like hard to tell what was dealing significant damage. It's always just like whenever it felt like the plot needed to advance that like something happened. Like, oh, he got a tentacle cut off. Oh, that didn't do anything.
And then sometimes it hurts him when when it gets cut, and sometimes it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, overall, I thought the season was okay, but I did really like the finale.
So you would say there was at least 2 people that compared this to season 6 of Game of Thrones. Sounds like you would say you'd be exaggerating.
Or the final season?
The final season, whatever was the final season.
I think season 8 of Game of Thrones. 2 people compared it? Like that you know of?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in person.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, they were like, oh man, the final season was so bad. It was just like Game of Thrones. That's
no, it's not even close. Like the writers of that final season of Game of Thrones, like, just like don't know how to write anything. Like, no, whoever said that, they're insane to even think that this comes close to how that final season is. I want to talk to them, or you have them listen to this podcast so I can tell them straight up. You're crazy if you think this is anywhere near as bad as Game of Thrones final season.
Were you there from the very beginning with Game of Thrones?
I was.
Damn. I just saw the first episode of the last season.
Here's the thing.
Never seen an episode
Game of Thrones. I could make the argument that had it not fumbled the finale, that'd be a show that I rewatch. But like nobody ever talks
literally
about,
just the last episode. Like
nobody. No, it's the final 2 seasons. The second last, like season 7. It's not great, but it's still like enjoyable. The last season is just straight up like garbage. And I wouldn't say that this season of The Boys is straight up garbage. Like, insane.
No, yeah, I saw some great moments. Like, yeah, like the relationship between the deep and noir was just always entertaining, and just how that like kept escalating.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
even the brief stuff with freaking A-Train. But yeah, and even just like Homelander himself, like, you know, it's fun just watching them like lose their mind. The whole Ashley thing was entertaining.
Oh yeah, Ashley was probably the most consistent written character across the entire thing.
That's true.
I did laugh out pretty loud when she did the press conference and she's like, "Oh, it was me. I did it all." And like, "No, I will not be resigning." To hard cut to her getting arrested. Like I did laugh pretty hard at that.
Yeah, that's the voice.
That's the voice.
I guess that also means we need to call the boy back. Let's see.
Yeah. He could have just like muted himself too. Like he didn't have to leave.
Oh.
But I wonder if he knows that he could just deafen himself.
It'd be better this way.
Because we'll see. I mean, I guess, kind of a little longer episode, but no Nintendo financials, so, you know, we did okay.
All right, yeah, we take the wins that we can.
Well, I mean, I guess I could give us a head start. So, yeah, that was our episode 85.
Yep.
Please, does he say please? I mean, it's fine.
He doesn't say please.
Oh, thank God. All right, do
There
the
he
housekeeping.
is. There he
Hello
is.
again, gentlemen.
Do the housekeeping.
I'll have you know.
No, just do the
Housekeeping.
housekeeping. We're already
This is
running
part of the
long.
housekeeping.
We're
Yeah,
long.
we
Just go to the
don't want a
housekeeping.
conversation. We don't. Housekeeping.
Save it for after the pod.
So while I was playing Pictonico,
Oh.
it had me do a genie rub,
I'm muting myself.
and the 3 genies that came out were the 3 people who you can follow on socials. You can find me, JSR7, on Threads and Twitter. That was genie number 1. Genie number 2 was Angel, who you could find at World of Werewolves on Instagram. Genie number 3 was Kevin. You can find KV Ngomi on Twitter and Blue Sky. And there was not, unfortunately, a 4th genie for Elvis, but that's okay because he doesn't tell us where he is on the internet. So that's how you find us on socials. If you want to subscribe to the podcast on your various podcast app of choice, you can do that. We're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and YouTube at Ram Nintendo. It's also our Twitter at Ram Nintendo. And with that, housekeeping was done and themed to a prior conversation.
Wait, really?
Back to you.
That was it? Huh. Maybe I should try to learn it at this point. Wasn't that bad. It was Google, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, and...
Was not Stitcher. I did not say Google, but it's kind of... Are we still
Yes.
recording? I thought you guys didn't want to have a conversation.
I haven't given it to the last word, but I just want to confirm. Google, Apple
I'm gonna
Music.
stop it then, right? Or no?
All right, fine. Let's give us the
Google
final
isn't
word.
a thing anymore.
Yeah, I didn't say Google, and I didn't say Stitcher, because those aren't
Wow.
things.
All right, Elvis, final word.
Google's got folded into YouTube.
Good night.